Yeah, I'm 36 actually. I'm spiritual. Yeah. So, I believe that God can be real. I don't believe that they themselves is of structure of a human body form. Does that make sense? No. Why do you say that? Because men have said that? Okay. If you would remove the Bible for just 1 second, because the Bible is a manuscript made of humans, right? No, no, no. I asked you a specific question. Is it written by regular men? Okay, but let me just say this. Christians don't believe in witchcraft. So how could you believe in prophets? You're talking about one story, but in the glance of the universe, every story that is written in the Bible, almost every story that is written in the Bible was written by man. And how can you say that the Bible is of truth when man knows to lie? Oh, yeah, it is. I think you're pushing the burden a little bit because, oh, absolutely. Okay. Um, Let me ask you something different. So, do you believe God is of gender? Yes, but yes, but that is but all of those chapters in those Bibles or in the Bible is written by man. I'm telling you that the perception of God that you currently have as being masculine is wrong. And you can ask me why it's wrong. That's not okay. Well, then knock me.
Yes, I am 33. Uh, I am a Baha'ism, but I can try and argue with you on this since it seems to be reverse night. Why do you think God is real? Oh yeah, demonstrate that it's not true. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Yeah. And ultimately, I think it is a leap of faith with how people come to God. Um, and also, I think there is a spat of doxastic involuntarism involved where people are just stuck in one way unless they have some weird life changing experience like I did. For sure. Wouldn't really call it a testimony, but uh, oh shoot, I'll get by the wall, like Roger Waters. Um, but yeah, have you heard of Kundalini? Yeah, I mean, uh, sure, let's go with that. But anyway, it's like this spiritual energy that starts up from the base of your spine and it moves upwards. They compare it to like this serpentine energy, and it feels like your spine's exploding a little bit as it goes up. Like, um, I mean, it's not unlike that, but more intense. I had a thought that my body was unmanifesting. Like, it also comes with psychosis, and the Hindus talk about this. So, like, I learned about God, in my opinion, but it wasn't necessarily a fully positive experience. Like, overall, 10 out of 10 would not recommend. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, and you're kind of doing the whole switcheroo thing. I got it. Like, got.
Yeah, yeah, I'm 22. And am I an atheist? No, I'm more agnostic, would be my position. But so, yeah. Well, I was really curious to know how you reconcile sort of the evil in the world with God's goodness. So, if God created everything, do you believe that? Okay, right. If God created all things, then are evil things also not his creation? The fall. Well, yeah. So you're a Christian? Um, may I ask like what denomination? Protestant, like, okay. So the fall, why, so do you believe the creation story, Adam and Eve, is historically true, really happened? I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna interrogate whether the Bible is telling a true story. That's not where I'm going. But you do believe that Adam and Eve were real? Okay. Why did God put the tree of knowing of like good and evil in the garden in the first place? Okay. Okay. So so you believe in free will? Okay. Okay. Well, I don't believe in free will. I don't think it's a real thing. I don't think people make um choices sort of in a vacuum. All of our choices are informed by the environment we've lived in and are currently living in. Yeah. Well, with a deterministic view, then there wouldn't be the sort of by proxy creation of evil that you're talking about. Evil would be directly created by God. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Well, but then I wouldn't find that particularly good. Because say the Sims were sentient and could feel suffering, could experience evil, then I don't think it would be good or moral to put them in that situation. Allowed, for example, um, I'm trying to think of words that can be said on TikTok lives. Um, like ethnic cleansing, eth yeah, genocide. Well, I mean, through natural disasters, you could claim that he did, and I'm claiming that because he created the environment where humans were reared and then engaged in genocide, he also created those genocides. What other god is there? I'm just talking about one god, assuming a sort of monotheistic view. Well, it can be the Christian god. We can posit that. Hmm. Yeah. Or he could have created a world without the scarcity that leads people to have like conflicts over natural resources. Um, he could have just not imbued us with a sense of hatred that leads us to harm each other. Hmm. It's one of the beautiful things about the Bible. Yeah, is the in the Bible it talks about, I believe, elk and lions like laying together, like living together in peace and not harming one another. I think that this sort of utopian view of the Garden of Eden is awesome, and I don't know why that wasn't kept, because this idea that the fall was done of some free choice, I think there's always a calculus that's involved in a choice. You make a choice for a reason. You don't do it spontaneously, or even if Adam was trying to or not Adam, if Eve was trying to rebel against God, then well, wasn't that sense of rebellion imbued in her by God? Or if you're going to blame the serpent, wasn't the serpent created by God? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. All right, dog. I wasn't expecting this switch up. I don't. So, are you a Satanist? So why is that? In an atheistic way. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. Oh. Mhm. Yeah. I was confused. I was confused with the way you were reacting to questions because you weren't being belligerent. Yeah. Okay. Well, flames. Yeah. Wasn't my intention, bro. I hope I don't go to hell for this. All right. Peace.
Oh, I am 25. Hell no. I'm just okay. Fair. I just want to say hi. I just came across you. You seem fucking cool, and also, and yeah, I like your beard. I'm just gonna say this. I just if there's something after, I just want it to be like a bunch of cocaine and hookers. All right. Yes. Oh, nice, nice. Oh, I mean, oh, yes. By the way, I, I, I think people say I do have a very deep voice, so I think I can pull up a Satan pretty well. So I don't know. So that's what people say. Oh, 1 minute. Hello. Oh God, I can't even do it. 1 minute. Hello. I don't know what to do. Oh, what the fuck is a guttural? Like oh, like oh, oh. I don't know what I would do. Like that. I can't do that. I'm sorry. My throat
Yo, what's
hurts
up, man?
because
What's going on, bro? I am opposition,
yay.
yes. I think God's a good God.
Okay, bye bye.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Well, God is good. We're breathing air. God is good. We're on a planet. God is good. He's all powerful. God is good. He's all justifiable. He's good. He loves us. Jesus Christ. I can try. God is good. He came down on the cross and died. Yeah, God is good. He came down on the cross and well, I mean, I would say I would say he's like he like the same power level as Vegeta. I would say at that time frame, you know, he's Super Saiyan. Oh yeah, I mean he's like I mean he's stronger. I would say towards the end of Z Vegeta. Well, I mean like I would say he gets modded. Yeah, but like he came back to life. I hope not. That card game, you know, if it wasn't come back to life, man, that card game would become true. Like the Nazi zombies, and you know, facts, man. You know, to save his planet, I would say God would do anything. Well, I would say that you know the God of the Bible, which I believe in, Jesus. You know, he's a fearful God and a God that's patient and a God that holds his anger into the last minute. And to yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll say like the last resort would be unaliving. Yeah, well, well, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, well, I mean, we see that God is he's one of the most strongest persons in the Bible at that point. Yeah, he's like Vegeta level towards the end. And so like, you know, his anger gets hold to the last minute, and so you know, since he hates it, you know, so the last thing God would do was unalive somebody. The last thing God would do unalive somebody. So he will go to like hold his anger in until he can't hold to that point no more. So well, bam, you have to die. So he goes Vegeta mode onto the people. And I like that. That's the dark part of God. I like that. That's the gore. Well, well, I would say that you know that's the evil part of God, the dark side of God, because it's more gory, more it's horrific. That's where all the gore and everything comes from God because of those reasons. So now we have the knowledge of the gore. So it's like this gore ball that we have in our head. Well, I mean, I would say no, he's not evil. I would say 'cause we're all in a trial. You know what I mean? So a trial doesn't mean anything goes. So uh, okay. Guys saying read the book of Enoch. I would say it. Wait, make who evil here? God or Satan? Hmm. Oh yeah, that's Satan. Wait a minute, no. God allows Satan to do it. Well, I mean, like, but like, like even if it was a goon, that goon has the free will to either do this or that option without the restraint. Oh, goonin?
Hi. Good to see you too, man. Why would you do this to me? Yeah, I, I, I genuinely have no idea how that could work.
Yes, sir, man. You said what? Yes, sir. I was just curious. What do you define as Satan? Who do you think Satan is? Do you like actually mean that? So like you take the understanding of Satan under Christianity and other beliefs and all that extra stuff, and you come to a conclusion that Satan is better than God. You mean that? Okay, so my interpretation of it, he's just an individual who deceives others, tempts others to do evil, sin, things of that sort. So, given that description of Satan, you think that he's a better individual than God, morally at least? Okay, and why?
Can I? Well, I'm sorry. The worst thing, the worst things Satan ever does is when he's listening to orders. That's the worst he ever does, and is when he's listening to letting someone else tell him what to do.
Mm,
Otherwise, he doesn't do anything wrong.
he doesn't do anything wrong. Okay. Um, or
That that's exactly yes.
from my interpretation, I seen a YouTube video about it. The reason why God did that is because Satan thought that Job was only worshiping God and doing all this good stuff because he was receiving good things, and if God remove all these good things, it's going to be the case that Job will still act in favor of God, moral views and things of that sort. I mean, it's I think it's just more than about. I think proving a point. I think that one thing that God really focuses on is the relationship between him and us. And since I think that he prioritized that so much, if it's going to be the case that it's possible that an individual like you is going to be taking his being for granted, and this is something that he doesn't like at all, I don't think. I think he sees it as disrespect. I think that it would be best in his favor to see. Is more than that. It's testing faith. It's testing faith, and I don't think that God is just outright putting him through these scenarios. Obviously, he did the good things and created a good scenario. It is. Uh, I don't really think that's an analogy. I don't really. I don't really think that part right there is just unaliving somebody for absolutely no reason or no sufficient reason is. But I think or in reference towards that, or right, including other information at other points. I think that is he's doing these things for sufficient reasons and not just, he's not just doing it unreasonably, right? So I think there could be some sort of. I mean, if we're going to accord to the Bible, we could say some greater good. God has he has the greatest mind, ultimate, complexity. He understands all. So I guess doing said actions, he could have seen this leading towards a, I guess, greater good, like this lesson being taught for other peoples like us, so we can understand the perspective of Christianity. Showcasing that event in the scenario of Job that allowed the God to help us understand his perspective upon things, help us understand his ideology, help us form a better relationship with him. So that can be a sufficient reason why acts like that was performed within the Bible, so it can form greater relationships with people like us in the future. From Satan perspective, Satan. I think the only reason why Satan would have done such is to test his faith, but I believe the reason why God allowed said actions for greater reasons. So I think that when he says things like that, when he's talking about things being done for no reason, he's talking about in perspective of Satan. Wait. Him starting the interaction doesn't mean that he's invoking the idea that this individual, I guess, good life and things of that sort should just be destroyed. I wouldn't. That doesn't make any sense to me. Are you saying that Satan reason for doing this is for like a test? I would assume so. Hmm. Right. But I explained uh, going through that sequence, yes, it does cost some loss. But like I said earlier, there can be some sort of good reason on why there is, some sort of greater good, right? This is going to be a lesson within the Bible. This lesson within the Bible can be presented to multiple people that may exist within the future to help gain a better relationship between these individuals and God. Um, um, in this unfair world, yes, this world is very unfair. Like we have to lose things. Jealousy, jealousy. Uh, in an instance of the Bible, in real life, no, because I'm not God. I don't determine any of that. I don't think anybody here will be able to do that. Mhm. All right, yeah, I'm confused in that part. But about the must be a reason for why I believe in God. Uh, I mean, it's not absolute. And again, the reason why feel like again, the reason why I feel like God is going to be the one in which that is capable of doing such is just given his properties. Obviously, if it's going to be you doing such, it wouldn't make sense for you to do said action because you don't have the absolute properties or the properties that God may have. So if we're acknowledging the properties that God may have, we can allow these scenarios to exist. Are you all powerful? Are you eternally existing?
It's literally
You
might
don't
make
think there?
sense.
Wait. So you're basically saying there's absolutely no possible reason. No possible reason. Because when you're saying that, if you're acknowledging that God is a being that knows all things, all possible reasons, and you're saying that, and you're disagreeing that you're basically disagreeing with there being a possible reason on why this said thing should be considered okay.
It
That
just
must
sounds
have
like
fixed it.
there isn't any wrong answer.
Test, test. That must have fixed it. Do I still sound okay on TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why it switched this setting, and it really bums me out that I'm 50 minutes in and I'm just not finding out about that because I did that bit at the beginning. I thought that was funny. Anyway, I'm sorry. I was reading those comments about the technical issues on the YouTube side, so I didn't hear what you said. Crisis, I
Yeah.
apologize.
I would just do you believe that there is like any like good reason? Like, could there be any good reason on why God does these things?
Don't think
Could there
so.
be?
I
So
don't think it's
there's
justifiable.
no possible world. Like I don't want to get into like the meta and all that, but like this is how you're phrasing it. There's no possible scenario where there can be a good reason on why God does this.
There's not one that I can think of, so
But
that's going to be
do
my
you see the error in
position.
that?
There's not going to be
You're,
one that like I appeal to, right? Like because if I
okay.
said like, yeah, there's a possible world, then someone could challenge me and be like, oh yeah, what's that? And I'd be like, I don't know, you know,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
sound like an idiot for saying something like that.
Not necessarily. You can describe a possible world where this event lead up to greater, again, the greater good, greater instances, greater futures, things of that sort.
Where like
So,
the
like
ends
for
justify
you
the
to,
means. So I'm not an ends
hmm?
justify the means type person usually, especially when it's like, um, especially when it has to be like people, like innocent people being killed. But like if God's all powerful, then like there is no has to with God. God's hands are never really tied if he's all powerful. Oh, good night, Ogar. Thanks for joining. Yeah, make sure you
All
guys
right, so,
click on Ogar's comment and follow him. He's awesome.
all right, when you say innocent people, what innocent people do you mean?
Like Job's family,
Job's what?
they didn't do
You think
anything.
they're innocent?
Yeah, I mean, well, what did they do? Are they not innocent?
You can say they're not innocent given they may have performed sinful actions throughout the series, or not the series, but throughout the Bible.
So you would say that somebody's guilty if they may have potentially done something wrong. I wouldn't want you to be on
They're
any
most
jury,
likely guilty.
by the way, because like I would say that like someone's innocent until proven guilty. So can you prove that they're guilty?
Can I prove that they're guilty?
Yeah, I hold to innocent until proven
It's
guilty.
most likely the case that they're guilty. Within the Bible, it's most likely the case that they're guilty, given the factor that the documentation of the Bible haven't represented an individual who is all good, other than like individuals like Jesus and God Himself.
What are they guilty of? And don't just say sin. Like say something
Arbitrary,
specific.
it would have to be sin. Arbitrary sin. It can be any sort of sin.
Yeah. No, it's because it sounds like you're just pointing a finger, being
All
like, "That's a
human
bad
sin.
guy."
All human sin.
If you
Like
can't
nobody.
list a specific crime, you're unjustified in saying they committed any crime.
Well, no, it's not true. If it's true that all humans sin, then I wouldn't have to provide.
Could you imagine if I
specification.
pointed at somebody on the street and was like, "Officer, get this person. They did a crime. What's the crime? It was a crime." You know? Well, yeah. Like if they did a crime, sure, but you have to tell me what it was so I can charge them. Saying a crime, saying a sin is like saying it's a crime.
You aren't up to the one. You aren't the individual in which that judges. God is the individual in which that judges. It is true that all individuals sin. So since God is the ruler, the judge, He is going to be the one able to determine which sin was performed. So I don't know what to tell you. That's the argument.
So you don't think that anybody is innocent,
other than Jesus and God Himself? That's it.
And you think that the types of sins that even like the youngest of us, the most innocent of us, are still deserving of something like being sliced in half or getting
when it comes to
getting
the babies,
leukemia,
man, I don't really know.
or lit on fire,
baby,
or fucked or something against their will. Like these are things that they deserve because they've done the minor sin of existing. Well, you said they're guilty.
I wouldn't say they deserve it.
Then it would be
that doesn't mean that I'm saying that
they're
saying that they're guilty is distinct for saying that they deserve this specific crime. But and when it comes to instances like babies being harmed and all that extra stuff, I don't really know about all that.
Because usually the position is like, well, this is justified for God to allow these types of things to happen because sin and free will and shit. And I'm like, babies don't deserve this. Toddlers don't deserve this. They're innocent. But some people would say that it sounds like you're saying that everybody is guilty. Nobody's innocent. Not even the youngest of us. I think that's absurd.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, I guess I should add more context to that. Like I said, when it comes to babies, when we're first born into this world, obviously during our first few years, we may not do any sort of wrong things. Like we probably won't. You probably may be innocent during those years. You may accidentally do something wrong, but I don't think that you should be, I guess, guilty for those things. Since it was accidental, you're a baby, you're learning. But when it comes to you growing up, you gaining more education and knowledge about these things, we tend to do sin regardless of us knowing if it's wrong or not.
Do you think that every sin deserves the death penalty?
The death penalty? Probably not.
Because then, like, with Job's family, you would have to point out which sin they did to deserve the death penalty, because that's what they got.
I'm not really sure God really hates sin. So when it comes to the perspective of God, he might perceive it to be different. He might, the consequences? He might perceive the consequences to be different.
What?
Yeah. So, say for an example, you did something wrong. You lied to me. I may think that you should like stop being my friend. That's the consequence. But God may do something more outrageous, right? So yeah, and I'm saying that when it comes to God judging you, the consequences, when it comes to the consequences and all that stuff, it's going to be distinct when talking about God.
Yeah, so the reason I brought this up, I guess I'll just reiterate because I don't think that was an answer, was um Job's family gets killed, and your whole like response was essentially, well, they're guilty, so like essentially they get what they had coming to them. But now I'm saying, like, you need to demonstrate that they did a sin that's worthy of the death penalty.
I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they should be unalived because
Are you saying they shouldn't?
You said that they're innocent people. You're saying that it's wrong to do. You're saying that it's wrong to do bad
My
things to
position is
innocent
that they
people.
shouldn't, and your position is not that they should. But like, do you hold a stance?
I'm not really sure on that. I don't really say I would hold a stance.
So you're not sure as to whether or not.
I don't really think they're innocent. That's what I was really pointing at.
So you think that like it's possible for God to be in the wrong here?
I don't really know if I wouldn't grant that it's possible for him to be wrong.
So then you would say that it should happen because he always does the best morally good thing.
If you want to provide an argument why there is a greater good, sure. Like I already provided an
I'm
argument.
not gonna that's because that's not my burden to show that there isn't a greater good from what God, like that's you kind of.
I already did. Yeah. Obviously, I already did.
Yeah, like, well, you have to actually demonstrate that there is a greater good. We can't assume that there is one based on these actions.
Gave a list of reasons on why most likely would be. If the hypothesis that best explains the scenario is the instances I laid out. This being considered a lesson in which that is taught to the future, in which that explains what is currently happening in our reality.
Well, that's how we got onto the thing in the first place, where I was saying, do you think it's ever justifiable to use a test to teach somebody a lesson at the expense of the lives of other people? And your response to that was, well, they were, because I said innocent people. You said, well, they weren't innocent. Like that was like it's justifiable if they're not innocent.
Yeah, if they're not innocent individuals, it can be considered justifiable.
Right, but you wouldn't. But you already agreed that not every sin is worth the death penalty.
I said I'm not sure.
So you weren't sure if
Yeah,
if I told you that I was wearing pink underwear right now, you don't know whether or not I should be killed for saying that. I'm not wearing pink underwear, by the way.
It's not a sin, so no, you wouldn't. You shouldn't.
Well, I would have lied to you by saying I'm wearing pink underwear.
Oh, okay, that's why you said that.
Right.
If you're lying, I would. Okay,
and you're like, I don't know, Lobes. Maybe we you get like you should be killed for that. Maybe, I don't know. That's on the table for sure. I mean, that sounds like radically insane to me.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think it's insane to consider maybe killing somebody because they said they're wearing pink underwear?
No, I think it's insane. I said I agree that I don't think you should be unalive given the factor that you lied. Given the factor that you lied.
So okay, so then you don't think that like every sin deserves the death penalty?
Given the context, sure, yes.
Okay, so then you would have to demonstrate that Job's family committed a crime that was worthy of the death penalty. Again,
commit a crime that is worthy of the death penalty.
Yeah.
So I don't really think so. I don't really think that I should. If it's the case that there's instances in where there are guilty people who done guilty things, right? And these guilty people can be used to create some sort of greater good within the future. Like then we can utilize that line of reasoning.
But it's not just unless they deserve what they got. If you're saying, well, they're guilty, it's not enough to say that they're guilty. They might have claimed to wear pink underwear when they weren't, but you agree that that's not enough for them to be killed for it. So In
That's
order
why
for
I
us to
didn't
say
really
that
line of reasoning.
it's justified to have happened, is if we. It seems like you're just assuming that it's justified. Well, I'm saying that like that's irresponsible. Like if we're gonna do our
No.
own personal judgment on what happens here, was this good or was this bad? Well, we have to say whether or not this is justified, and we can't justify it because we can't demonstrate that they did anything to deserve this. And it seems like, given the context, it's
Uh,
just for a childish wager that God has with
I
Satan.
don't know what you mean by deserve. I don't know what you mean by deserve. I don't know why you keep saying. I'm really confused on that part. I don't really think there. I don't know what you mean by deserve. All I'm saying is that these actions in which that was displayed can be justified. I already gave my line of justification, and you're just ignoring it. I don't know why.
No, I've had
I
to
keep
repeat myself
repeating it.
multiple times. You haven't really. Anyway, man, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Um, gonna bring the next person up here. And I'm also going to take care of this.
Well, Lubes is getting a beer.
What is this?
Lubes is getting a
What is
beer
this?
right here. Didn't you hear that boy
Yo, this
Lubes is getting
is just
himself a
disgusting.
note of beer?
Man, you better come back
Yeah,
in
so you should
costume.
get one too. I said it's
Man, you
beer
better come back in
time.
costume.
Yeah, it's
You
beer
could be spitting juicy
time.
on y'all.
Oh, flippity flappity flapping do below below below, bitch. What kind you get? Ooh, that shit looks good. Yeah, baby, yo.
That was good. Hey,
Bitch.
hey, rep it, KG.
All right, take AG. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, I am. I'm 19.
All right. You believe in God?
Yeah, I'm a theist, but I have a question for you, if
Okay.
you mind. Yeah, why do you think Satan's better? I just want to hear your line of reasoning, you know?
Yeah, well, so when I say God is evil, Satan is better, I'm talking about the God and the Satan from the Bible, and I read the Bible, and I read all this crazy fucked up shit that God does, and then I struggle to see Satan in there very much, and when he's in there, he's usually just kind of talking. I'm
I mean,
like,
that's
you
already
know,
not true. I mean, so you can't read the Bible if you think Satan is never in there and is just talking. You can't read the Bible
oh,
because he's
educate
literally
me.
he's literally known for what he did to Cain when he took everything from Cain.
Oh, so he took some stuff from a guy. Okay, so what else did
Yeah,
he do?
well, once again, that would just refute your point in which you say, "Oh, Satan didn't do anything in the Bible. He was just talking."
Did Satan, I mean, how many people has Satan killed?
I would say, honestly, we don't know. There's not like a
You don't
exact
know? Well, how
counting of a number.
how many like accounts of that are there in the Bible?
So you're only referring towards the counts in the Bible. So
That's the
I have
source
a question.
material.
The source, yeah, I mean that would be the subject, but not necessarily,
Because
not
because like
necessarily
my whole thing here, man, is that like I don't know exactly what you're referring to. I'm gonna go ahead and grant it. Like we'll just say that what you're saying is absolutely in there and it's happening however you say it happened. That way we can like save the time of trying to fact check it. So he stole some stuff from a guy or he ruined his life or something. So he ruined his life. Meanwhile, God killed everybody on the face of the earth at least once.
Yeah. So do you know what the view of consequentialism is?
Lay it out for me.
Yeah, so consequentialism is basically preserving the maximum good, right? In which it means the process does not matter. But whatever you do, it should always preserve the maximum good. So, for example, if you had a big red button and the big red button said, "Hey, you can terminate everybody on Earth, but they would all go to heaven." That would be the maximum good. If you press that button, you'd be adhering to consequentialism, right? So you have a good understanding, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So consequentialism is an actual moral framework in which this is the moral framework that
I am actually
that
familiar with this. It's sounding familiar to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's actually pretty popular. We actually use it pretty much in everyday
Yeah, it's like
moral
ends justify
situations.
the means type shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In which do you know the ends of what
Right.
happened?
Okay, so like, do you believe that God's all powerful?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if God's all powerful, and let's say that it was like necessary or something, like for the greatest good to happen, for the greatest good to happen, he had to kill everybody on the face of the earth. That's pretty
Mm,
deeply unintuitive, but do you think
that
that
wouldn't be a
God,
necessity.
do you
That'd
think
just
that,
be what happened.
do you think that God needed to do it by drowning, or do you think that he could have gotten it done by just like wiping them off like a Thanos snap or something?
I think I think both of these processes would be the same. So I don't
Oh,
understand.
you think that you're indifferent as to whether somebody gets killed by being snapped out of existence or if they horrifically drown? Those are the
Oh
same to you?
well, yes, these processes are not the same, but these ends are the same.
Yeah, but
So
one
so
is like way worse than the other, right? If we're gonna be honest here, drowning is horrific. I don't know how it's ranked, but I heard a long time ago that drowning is one of the worst ways that you can die.
I guess so. Me and you would never know. But this actually just goes back towards my point of consequentialism, right? That this viewpoint would just make this morally permissible.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
still trying to get like.
Yeah.
It seems like you're still indifferent to whether God should torture
Well,
people to death or just like peacefully kill them to death. He could have had them all have
well,
massive O's when they died,
yeah. I mean, he
right?
he
That would
could
have
have
been
had
better.
aliens.
They still
Yeah,
die
sure. He could
and
have
come to death.
summoned aliens, and the aliens could have picked them up, and then they could have went on a big party, and then they could have died within
Yeah,
a coma.
yeah.
Right?
I'd
But
pick that one.
this doesn't really change the fact that the action would still be more morally permissible under a consequentialism
It's
standpoint.
senseless brutality.
Well, okay, so
KG.
I don't think you're understanding what consequentialism is. It does not matter what the process is as long as you entail the maximum good. So, for
Do you think
example,
that do you think? Well, I understand that. Like, do you think that
yeah,
there's
okay.
more good if people die without pain, or more good if people die with pain?
I actually don't see the relevance, but I don't think
Do you think that
dying.
needless pain is good?
Do I think that needless pain is good? No, I don't.
Right. So God could accomplish. He's all powerful. He can accomplish his goal
Yeah.
with or without needless pain. He chose the needless pain, so he's maximizing suffering when he could be maximizing good. So this can't possibly be the most good outcome.
No, wait. Okay. So so the correct terminology would be this can't be possibly the most good process because that's what you're talking
Or
about. You're
fine,
questioning the
whatever.
process.
Sure, the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
it can't be the most.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not gonna bring about as much good. Excuse me. If he just did it with the Thanos snap, he could have done the Thanos snap.
Sure. I guess it wouldn't be the most morally just process.
The only reason I can
Sure.
think
That's
of is
fine.
just that he's a sadist, like he's sadistic. That's the only thing I
Huh.
could think of.
The
It
only
makes
reason
the
that you
most
can think of.
sense.
Yeah,
Why he
but
would do it this
what?
way.
So okay. So could you justify that, please? Like, what's the motivation?
Yeah, so like I mean, I'm trying to think of any reason why he would. Like, is it because he loves them? Can't be because you don't like needlessly cause somebody to suffer
Oh,
because
okay,
you love
okay.
them.
Now
And I'm
I'm
like,
understanding.
if he was
Yeah,
indifferent,
okay.
then I don't like I don't know why he would do anything at all. And
Well,
if he's
yeah.
sadistic, he's like he knows everything, right? He drowning is like he knows that's a really horrible way to go, and he goes with that. I can only really think that one makes the most sense. Like he's just
Well,
sadistic.
well, for one, no matter what bad thing you do, it doesn't just because you say, well, he did do this, and I don't know why he did this, but the only reason I could possibly think of is X. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean X is true, right?
Well,
You would still
what
need
can you give me
justification.
like a more rational like thought? Because I'm stuck on the
I wouldn't.
sadist thing.
Well, I mean, you could be stuck on that
It
thing, but
seems
I
like the
would have to
only
present.
seems like the only reasonable thing to think. Like, what's more reasonable?
Okay, so I'm asking you, why would that be reasonable? All you've done is presented it, but you haven't said why this would be reasonable.
Holy shit! Like, just give me something. Like, give me a reason to not think so.
So now you're gonna burden shift. Okay, it would be your you present
KG,
this claim.
KG, listen, man. Like I'm just a simple guy who
Yeah.
cannot help but see sadism where sadism resides,
Okay,
and
so
like
okay.
this
Okay,
this is
so where does
obvious
sadism reside?
sadism. It
Okay.
resides in the methods that God chooses, the arbitrarily chooses. If not
circular.
for sadism, it's for no reason. It's just arbitrary. But it can't possibly be for good because I've already
Sure, that can be
demonstrated.
illogical.
It's already
Wait,
I've already demonstrated that it would be better for there to be like a Thanos snap.
Lopes, you actually just gave your own. You just gave yourself the own your answer to your question. Arbitrariness, that could be a logical reasoning, but once
So God
again,
does
you
things
can't.
arbitrarily. But if God's bringing about the most good, then then
Wait,
he would just default to something that's not as bad as this
no,
method of
that's
execution.
that's not true because once again, under a consequenceless view, the process does not matter as long as the maximum good is entailed. But once again, I'm going to ask you to motivate why your
No, I'm
logical.
going to have to insist that you give me something that's more reasonable to
That's more
regular
reason.
people
Okay,
that actually have a
so you're
conscience.
going to assist the burden onto me. I mean, listen, Lopes.
Because you don't
listen,
have it,
Lopes.
man.
I
You don't have
understand that
it.
you. No, because you don't have reasoning. You don't have reason for why this entails being
I know,
Satanist.
I know, dude. I know that it's like really funny, but I expected nervous laughter when asked for some like a better explanation than God being a
No,
sadist, and that's exactly
this
what
is
I
not.
got.
This is
So that's
not
only
nervous
reinforcing
laughter.
me
Because what you're
thinking
doing is
this.
you're burden shifting because you know you can't explain why this would entail he would be a
It's
Satanist.
just
But could
I
you explain
answered your
why?
question to the best of my ability, and I re-asked mine, and you just laughed. So I'm not going to be able to.
No, but I've
I'm
already
really not
explained to
going to
you
be
the
able
question
to
and answer will be
think other
circular.
than he's a sadist, unless you give
Okay,
me a more reasonable response. Like
that's
why God would choose
we
this
already
specifically.
we already gave you reasoning. We gave you the reasoning in which
You gave me
arbitrariness.
really shitty poo-poo
That's
reasoning, man.
that's reasoning you came up with actually. So I guess you came up with shitty poo-poo reasoning.
Do you have
A
anything
little
else?
quiet. Stunlocked. Stunlocked.
Do you have
So
anything
once
else?
again, Lopes.
Because like it's just like I mean if you don't have a real justification for just doing senseless cruel drowning people and you're
I've
you're
already justified
indifferent
it, actually.
you're just justifying the drowning of innocent people. I mean, do you have
So
anything
Lopes,
that
we've
any
already
reason why
justified
it
it.
should keep you up?
Once again, Lopes, I've already justified this. You're not tracking. You have to track, okay? You have
All right. Well,
50
it
people in
sounds
here
like
saying that you're not tracking.
you're not able to answer basic questions anymore. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess so.
I've only had
Explain why
one.
being
I haven't even
Satanist.
finished one yet, but I
Don't
think you
die.
might have had 10 or 12.
Explain.
I'll just let you go. Yeah. Like in order to be a good faith interlocutor, you still should expect answers to the questions you ask, but you should also answer the questions that are asked of you, even if you think it might be a burden shift. Yeah, I need to talk to some people who aren't like inherently evil tonight. Is there anybody in here that is not oh, maybe I should make that a prompt, like no evil people, but then I won't get any guests. Because they out themselves. They're like, yeah, God's justified in killing innocent people. And I'm like, that's the definition of murder, is killing innocent people. And we've defined that as as evil. Anyway, let me do this. Anyway. Hey, God is evil, Satan is better. Neither are real. Guest box is wide open. I'm Lips the Absurd. This is Lopes Lounge. I hope you've got yourself a beer. Yes, my voice cracked. I was in a metal band and blew my voice out. So, anywho, I just ask that you don't be evil unless you want to be like, I guess, clipped and hated by whoever sees it. No, yeah, Pals. No, I utilize AI to make my music here because I just want to get like good background music that I don't have to ever worry about. Is this copyrighted? I don't have to worry about it if I just generate it. Do I believe in Satan? Absolutely not. I'm a fan of Satan though. Recently I'm a Satanist. Referring to the beer. The bear? The beer. Wait. Is tropical like what? Oh. I don't know. It's just tropical. I don't... I can't... I'm really bad at identifying tropical fruits. If it was apple, I'd be like, that's an apple right there. You know, but I'm not good with the tropical shit. But we've got... Girl Gnarly. Hi, are you at least 18?
Yeah, much older.
Okay, and what god do you believe in?
I just have to do this to you, bro. Premise 1, I love God. Premise 2, God is love. Conclusion, God is real.
Hang on,
I'm
there's
joking
something
about all of it.
Well, that was a pretty good argument. Let me just change. All right, so you've convinced me. Let me tuck my thing away here. So, guys, we're back to the beginning where I was stupid. And now we're looking for wait, but your opposition, because you were just doing a troll. So are you an atheist?
I am definitely an atheist. I was listening to the other person speak, and like the way that they were trying to like Phil bro you just made me gag a little bit. So.
It made me, yeah. I don't like gagging while I'm drinking delicious beer. You know, it's like it puts a bad taste in my
Same
mouth.
here.
Hey, but now we're ops, so could you please convert me back to atheism? Because this feels icky. I feel evil being a Christian again.
Wait, you are a Christian again? Okay.
You convinced me with that syllogism.
Right.
That invalid syllogism convinced me.
My thing is like, evidence, bruh. Where is it?
You're gonna have to do better than that. Come on, what's your best argument for atheism?
For atheism, yeah, it's the thing of like I have no evidence of God. So, and I grew up never having to believe in that, so I don't have the religious suffering that other people do. Thank God, ironically. But it's just there's nothing there for me. Like
there's no appeal.
No. I mean, you know what? All right.
You don't want to be gaslit into like worshiping somebody for all of eternity and bootlicking.
No.
Under duress of like eternal fire. You like that doesn't sound appealing to you?
Well, yeah, the eternal fire thing, because I'm kind of like, who's hanging out down there?
They choose. They're like, hey, would you rather like have eternal life where you have to be around Christians, or would you rather be tortured beyond your wildest imagination for all of eternity? It's like, if I'm being honest, the troll answer is being tortured, but let's be real. The real answer is nobody's choosing torture. Nobody. Like, I don't care what the alternative is. Torture's the worst thing you can endure. People beg for death over torture. Like, what the hell? What the fuck?
And this is why, like, a ton of people, like, people who have, like, experienced abuse and stuff like that, like, we're like, yeah, send me off this planet, because the real hell was being here the whole time. So why, you're making up an imaginary thing for somebody it feels like, and it's kind of sick of them to wish torture upon somebody else, although I get it to a degree,
Yeah.
but
Well, what's
it's
interesting, I think, I keep like doing counter apologetics, so I'm not going to be able to do the character. um, what's like really interesting to me is that this concept of hell, people will say, "Hey, God doesn't send you there; you send yourself there." When obviously God would be the one physically putting you there, and we already know that nobody's literally going to choose hell if they know what is actually to come. People just don't believe it exists. They don't believe in the paradigm. So God does put you there, but why does this apologetic even exist in the first place? Why do people not want to say God put you there? Because they know that would be fucking evil if God put you in hell to be tortured for all of eternity. They know that, like, oh, it's not for you, it's for Satan and his demons. It's like you're still putting, regardless. You did not make a third option. You knew we were gonna go somewhere. You were choosing to put us here. They understand that subjecting an agent to torture for all of eternity is evil, and they can't bring themselves to admit it. It's like, they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. I think that the appeal, the cushy side of Christianity brings them in, but then it comes with baggage like this, and you have to justify it because I'll take my thing out now. Because you are already in. So now the God that you worship and proclaim publicly to people, you have to be able to justify all this unjustifiable shit. And I think that's when people become major warped, twisted, evil fucking people, when they really get into justifying the unjustifiable here.
And I want to talk to you about this because there's two things. Like, first of all, so God, like, is this person or whatever, is this thing that has existed since the beginning of time or before time, and that's a whole other discussion. But then, like, it feels like God was like, hey, I'm bored. I'm going to create a little brother called Satan, and now he's going to have all the bad people. Like, it feels like playing The Sims in a really weird way.
It's funny that you said little brother. I did a skit, I think over a year ago now, where the twist at the end was Satan was God's big brother. That was supposed to be like the what the fuck at the end. Anyway, anyway,
No,
sorry.
but it makes sense. No, but it makes sense. It's like God was so bored that God was like, "Hey, I need to like mess around with I don't. And what's with the like? You have to choose to love me or worship me or whatever. Like,
Or else.
okay, give it, yeah, or else.
Yeah, what do you mean or else?
Get the hell out of here,
Like,
God.
I don't want anything to do with you, but like, I could totally put up with you if like eternal torture is the alternative. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to be tortured more than I don't want to be around you. Like, I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to deal with that, or my nerve endings are being fried and repaired just so they can be fried some more.
As somebody who's chronically ill, I'm like, maybe I could deal with the eternal damnation, and do I not develop a KINK? Because it's like, all right, I'm down here, devil. Let's be friends. Let's do this. Burn my feet.
Burn
like,
my
and I'm
feet,
like,
baby.
yeah, now I like this.
Well, I think hell is better with friends, and if we're all going down there, then we can hail Satan together all the way down.
Right? Like, a part of me thinks that, but then I also am questioning, like, what is heaven and what's the economic system in heaven? Like, is it socialism, or do I need to like do like a fast pass to get like to certain like food
You know,
lines.
like
Like
you'd think it would be like a utopia where there just isn't an economic system, but then again, God seems like he's really greedy and wants
yeah,
everything
yeah,
from you, but then he's also got like he's trying to reward you with treasures in heaven, like you're gonna have a bigger mansion than somebody else, or you're gonna have many crowns or whatever the shit is. The streets are paved with gold, so gold is obviously not the currency there. Um, but like there's apparently a tier system in heaven, some people believe, where like you've got because of how you lived your life on earth, you get riches in heaven. But like if there's no economics, then there can't really be riches the way that it sounds like it's describing them. So I am sort of at a loss. It seems a little incoherent. But I think that it would just be like you get more to give to God. Like God gives you this, and then he like looks at you, is like, "Aren't you so grateful that I gave you 20 fucking bucks?" You know, it would be nice if somebody was like so grateful to give me 21 bucks. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's
Like
what I'm.
that's how he
Yeah,
seems.
and it's like, say I never bought any tchotchkes or doodads or anything for my house. I lived in a basic shack, but I worshiped God. Like, am I sent up to the top of the God pyramid or at the bottom? And also, where does L. Ron Hubbard fit into all of this?
He's on a spaceship or something, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
clearly.
Well, let me check with Spider-Man here. Hey, T Homicidal one, are you at least 18?
I am. I'm 38
Okay,
in November.
and all right. Well, oh, happy birthday, coming up. Yeah, I'll be 31 in October. So not that we're close, but we're in the same decade now. Are you a believer in God? If so, which one?
So I do believe in God, and I believe in the God as the Christians view him, not as the Arabs view him, or the
Okay.
Islamic people
I was trying
view
to
Islam.
figure out if Spider-Man was doing the graffiti of the cross or if he was wiping it off, being like vandalism is like bad, you know.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man's like in a Christian gang where he's like doing Christian graffiti. That doesn't seem very much like Spider-Man. That's not cool.
Yeah, he's
Um,
Spider-Man doesn't condone any graffiti activities, guys.
he's not like Spider-Man, the character under contract is not allowed to participate in alcohol or drugs in any fashion. Like he can't give it to
Yeah,
somebody, he can't
that's
take it
true.
himself. Yeah, that's why in Spider Noir they don't let him call him Peter Parker. He goes by Ben
I
Riley
still
in
need
that
to
show.
watch. I still need to catch up on that stuff.
Yeah, I've had one episode left for a month, I think. I need to just finish it. It's good. Like it's worth the watch. Hey, girl gnarly, I'm gonna drop you down and talk to this new
Saw
guest.
you.
Yep.
I
All
saw
right,
you
but thanks for
Have
talking
coming
to
up.
fun.
some folks earlier.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw you
Thank you.
talking to some folks earlier, and I was thought I just wanted to commend you because you kept your cool, and there were some people like really just losing your cool at your claim, and I don't think it's really that rage baity. It's just it's your opinion, like, that God can. And I think it's actually. I don't want to invalidate you. I mean, I think that God can appear really evil sometimes, especially when we look around, we see people sick, and my
Yeah,
sister just lost a loved one, and
I'm
I mean we,
sorry.
we don't. Yeah, and I mean like other times we see people who aren't so nice or aren't living in a way that isn't even approachable to like befriend them, and they just seem like they have it all, and they're honestly like really abrasive people. Maybe they're rude, or maybe they're just maybe they step on others. So there's lots. I can see where your claim. Um, God is evil and Satan is better, neither are real. I don't think that anybody would. I don't think lots of people would make the claim that neither are real, but God would be better. I think, and you know what I mean. Like, I don't think anybody would say, "Hey, God's better and Satan, is evil, but neither are real." Like, God obviously would be the choice, but he's just not real, and nobody can really like present evidence to me.
Hmm.
But like the way you're stating it, I just want to say I want to make a claim, and it's opinion, of course, but I think that it's kind of like it's an influence. It's like a spiritual battle, and and I think that's why the U.S. Olympics, we weren't mocking Allah during the U.S. Olympics a couple years ago. It was like Satan getting dragged around by this Satan figure. And I mean, we're not mocking, we're not mocking like Jewish concepts of God. Really, we really zero in on the Christians, and we really zero in on Jesus. We don't like that concept of forgiveness for some reason. It seems like a cheap way to live your life. You can just do whatever you want. Wake up the next day. I'm gonna ask for forgiveness, or maybe before I go
I
to
think
sleep.
there's a bit of a misconception on your part here, so I'll clarify. Like, I don't scoff at forgiveness. When I hear the gospel message, I don't hear it as a tale of forgiveness. I hear it as a tale of coercion, because God, He knows everything, right? He's omniscient. He's all powerful. He creates all of us knowing that He's giving us an impossible standard, just to set the system up to where now there's no alternative. We need to essentially pledge our allegiance, Heil, to God, basically. And the only way that He can bring Himself to do that is if innocent blood is spilled to spare the guilty, and the guilty could range anywhere from a serial rapist, murderer of like children or something, a crazy genocidal world-ending maniac, to somebody who like littered once, because they broke the law of the land. But it's like, and all of this is deserving of damnation, which is obviously like deeply unintuitive. But not only that, since like he can only do it if innocent blood is spilled. I think that's pretty messed up. But it actually doesn't matter what you do. It seems like God doesn't care what kind of person you are. All He cares about is that you are on His side, on His team. Like, He doesn't, like, if you don't know He exists, then you can't be on His side. If you're not with Him, you're against Him, kind of thing. So you're just like guilty without even being aware of it. He doesn't care what you've done, how good. You'll be sent to hell if you're not on His side. He doesn't care what you've done, how bad. If you deserve extreme punishment, He'll wipe it away so long as you kiss His ass. And the alternative to being on his side is typically eternal conscious torment or annihilation, which is like the death penalty. So at best, it's the death penalty that you get for not siding with God. The gospel message is a major injustice and a story of coercion.
That was a couple of points. Let me see if I heard him. I think the first one was kind of like he's omniscient. He could have made us maybe a little more capable, a little more adept to what He's asking us to achieve.
Or a lot more, yeah. He could have made us
or a lot more, or like all the way. And then the second thing I heard was like you talking about it's especially favored, if this is true, if this Christian religion is true, that it's favored towards people who have heard of Him, know of Him, have discovered this or that, and that's kind of like unfair to somebody who doesn't believe in Him, didn't hear about Him, doesn't know of Him.
Yeah,
like
but of course, like there's also this other layer I didn't mention. Like, if they don't know about Him and He's all powerful and all knowing, then like that was always intended that they would never know about Him, and He would punish them for like not knowing something.
Yikes! And then I think the third point you said was, we started to get into a third point after that, which was like another really great question about. I'm sorry, it's escaping my memory now. You were starting to talk about.
It was
something.
So the blood of the innocent is the only thing.
Yeah,
Though
yeah.
He's omnipotent, he can only forgive if the blood of the innocent. Which
Yeah.
I can't think of a more evil like condition.
Right. And so I would just like to rapid fire same way try and just tell you like there's like in all of that there's always a situation I find that I could find and I don't understand. I just have to it's called confess actually, but we don't know the word confess because like back in the Greek the word confess was just agree. Like wherever you don't understand in your mind, you're smart, you have like an intellect and you're like, I see that this don't make any sense and it's offensive to me and it's supposed to be truth and the truth is supposed to set me free, yada yada, right? And so this ain't setting me free. I feel like a captive by this information and at some point you just have to lay it down and say, you know what, God, whatever part of this I'm getting right, I don't like, and I don't want to agree with you. But if you're God, I confess. I agree with you. And that's what the Greeks meant when they said to confess. It was just to agree. Even
Yeah.
when, yeah, and like Abraham,
So
he was told to go kill his son. He got up and started chopping wood, which is a scary kind of, just an extreme to how I obey my God, which I'm slow to obey. You know, I want to wait till I'm comfortable and it makes sense and everything else because I'm an intellect. And God, with another point you said was, you know, like people don't know him, like, or whatever. And so, I mean, there's a promise, and I know if you're going off the Bible, you're like, well, that's the Bible, so you can dismiss it. But there is a promise from God. It says that the wisdom's like in the street calling out, and whoever has a good question about stuff, they can go seek it out. And honestly, if they could pray, probably be the best thing. But seek it out in the Bible you're going to get an answer almost every time, at least within the time frame that you need it. You know, if you're really hung up on something, you're not getting an answer. It's probably not important.
So I think the biggest and most important question is, why would God make this gospel message that's integral to the outcome of my eternal soul? Why would he make it seem not just like not how Christians perceive it to me, and so to so many others, but downright evil to me? I hear it and I think this is like actually one of the most evil messages I've ever heard. And it's like I feel like it's a tragedy that so many people not only believe it, but call it good. And I can't help but come to this conclusion that people call it good because they already believe it's true. And since they believe it's true, if they don't agree with God, they'll be punished for that. Like that'll be like blasphemous. They're not allowed to think for themselves. And like, because if this God was real, I'd be fucked basically. You know, I could say like, oh yeah, it's good. You know, I don't understand how it's good. It still seems evil. God would see right through that. I wouldn't be able like to do that. So I'm kind of too far gone. You know, it does not make any sense. So I would be like trying to save myself by being like, you're awesome and your dick's big and stuff, but like I wouldn't be able to convince him that I was genuine.
Yeah, because you have this there's like a wall there of you understand a little too well what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't fool Lobes, right? He sees clearly who is ultimately in control here, and who ultimately could be giving these answers to Lobes, and it's God if he existed. And so fuck you for that, God, honestly, right? And that's a relatable feeling, Lobes.
Mm-hmm.
But let me just try to answer it just in the best way I could, because the first part you were talking about was something wicked, and talking about wicked, and it felt wicked and dark. And I just want to be I think if I were to answer you honestly, I'd say to your question, my most honest answer is I don't know. But from my own experience,
I appreciate that, by the way.
No problem, man. From my own experience, I would say when I encountered great evil, it was, and I'm going to be careful with the words I choose because, you know, we're on a platform, but there was
murder, Hitler, rape, suicide. It's fine.
Okay. Well, there was abuse of my small children when I was younger, and I was like a raging pothead, and I kind of saw things were going unwell, and they got better, and then things would be stressful at mom's house again with would-be stepdad. And then things would get bad again. The second time, instead of protecting my kids, I let fear control me. So I was at a big fault there, right? I let fear control me. I thought my lifestyle would lead me to lose the kids if I tried to pursue any kind of justice for my kids, because they were getting not too much evidence there because they were so young. But you're starting to put together a picture, right? You know what I'm saying? When I was at that point. After things got stressful for stepdad again, finally there was evidence of abuse, right? There was finally an incident where it got so bad there was evidence of abuse. It was violence, not anything too much more. And after they got away, you know, my daughter and my son would try and tell me other things, and so I began to form hatred for this guy, right? Because this was a wickedness that I encountered in my life, and it turned into deep, like it turned into ruminations, it's called, where you have it's like an intense daydream where you would think about what you would say or do differently in a conversation or event in your life.
Oh yeah, in the shower, I get that all the time in the shower, or like going to bed or in the car. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I would get it all the time in the shower because there was a story my daughter told me about showers. I get it when I saw dog cages or my children's faces on a good day, like we'd be at the park. And after 8 years, like the
Real
rumination.
quick,
About
good
7
night, Fen. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, Fen.
Thanks, guys. I haven't been paying attention to chat at all. Thank you guys for being here, listening to my boringness. But basically, long story short, try and do that. I know you have other requesters, but
I don't actually.
basically, well, good. So basically, the ruminations started to basically, they'd come at all times. Like I wouldn't like choose to start thinking about this or try to deal with it as a parent, because that's, part of it. You think you have to revisit it. So as a duty almost, but, so it would just come upon me, man. I'd be happy at the park and I'd think about it. And when I'd be done with the rumination, it would be like something I do to hurt him or get false justice or make him
It's almost like
say-
it's almost like a ritual that you would do to like help cope with the reality that you didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't do more. I wasn't there to help, or just to or to because
I just want to ask though. I just want to make sure. Like, are you getting to like? Are you? I know you started with I don't know, but like, are you getting to like a potential rebuttal?
Yes. Yeah. So my rebuttal is just it's just basically information for you to absorb and have your own opinion that I would respect about it, even though it's a personal event in my life. But basically, the end result was that 8 years later, I'd come to Christ, and I was like confused as to why the Bible says, it promises things like, not only does it promise stuff, but it tells us stuff like love your enemy, right? And that seems pretty gross. And I've told people this story, and I've gotten people who are amazed because maybe they're stuck hating someone and they have hope. And I've told it to people who have maybe been affected by abuse, and they told me I'm disgusting. I'm disgusting, and my story disgusted them. So you can decide. But basically what happened was I asked God, I'm like, take this out of my heart. My heart is beating fast after I ruminate about what I do to him, violent, or his kid even. It got gross. I feel like vomiting. I'm like, I've at this point, it had been years, I'd be telling God, I forgive him, but it came to a point where I asked God to take it out of my heart. So God's waiting because he wants to put a lens on different things, right? I think is what it always comes down to, because the lens is more important. If God makes us a promise, I'm going to make everything okay. Trust me, I'm going to turn all bad things into good things.
My assessment of this, and again, like you don't have to, like you're saying, here's my story, take it or leave it. I'll give my assessment, you can take it or leave it. But I want you to hear it because it's honest. Okay, so I hear your story, I sympathize with you. I think it's.
I'm sorry. Can I finish it? Can I,
Yeah,
please?
yeah, fine. Yeah, if you're almost done, you go ahead.
30 seconds. I'll do it in 30. I'll look at the time here.
Sure.
So when I made that prayer, God gave me what Christians refer to as revelation, which is like a lot of information coming from somewhere about something you've heard a million times before, maybe it's old information. It's just now you're looking at it. God's giving you revelation. And it was basically that Jared was stuck. He was stuck, trapped. God used a Bible scripture. He used a Bible scripture, man. It's Ephesians 6:12. You can look it up if you want. It basically says that we wrestle not with flesh and blood. In other words, I'm not wrestling against another man, but instead dark spirits, wickedness in the high places, and spiritual darkness in the rulers of this world are called spiritual darkness. And so when I began to hear the scripture I've heard it a million times before, God's like, you got to understand the highest place that this spiritual wickedness likes to reside in, the highest place, the highest title given is not president or priest, it's parent, because they're trusted with my children to raise them up to know me. They have a huge responsibility, bigger than anything else. So the wickedness likes to attack that. Jared was a parent. I was a parent. This wickedness would go to him, attack him, cause him to drink, tempt him to further darkness, for a further deeper, darker pit. And then it would take the results of that and throw it in my face, tempt me to murder him, tempt me to go out and do nasty things. It tempted me to smoke and into further wickedness and darkness. And God's like, if the darkness is just playing off of both you, what team does that put you both on? And you think he's a parent? Do you think he's happy with his behavior? Or do you think he's absolutely miserable and stuck like you are, stuck in after 8 years in this hatred? And after and more of that, and I'll just say this, I said at the last moment, I just began to look at Jared, like I had imagined him in my mind, like hurting him, right? So I just imagined him in my mind as Jesus was telling me him, giving me revelation. And when I was imagining him like that, I loved him in my mind's eye deeper than I think I've ever loved myself or my children. And because of that revelation, I began to pray for him with the most heartfelt prayer, loving prayer I've ever prayed in my life. I don't even think I've prayed for my own kids like this, man. I'm telling you. I prayed like this. I said, Jesus, I want you to solicit him. When he turns you away like we all do, I want you to remain. I want you to honor my will over his because they're equal, in other words. And I want you to remain because of my righteous prayer. I want you to encounter him and change him. I want you to take him out of this dark pit. I want you to cause him not to drink anymore. I want you to help him. I want him to have salvation. I want to see him in heaven with you, Jesus. And when my prayer hit that apex, how I was saying, when I was talking about revelation, it was if I heard God's voice. It wasn't really. It was like in my spirit that I felt and knew things. But when my prayer hit that apex, the only time I can say that I feel like I heard a voice, and I call it God's, but I don't know, dude. I'm going to tell you, honestly, I don't know. I was alone in the apartment, and the voice said this: you can't hate someone you pray for like that, can you? So listen, man, every day I dealt with this rumination. 3 days go by, multiple showers, and I'm in a shower, and Jared enters my mind so gently, and I make the exact same prayer because I'm afraid I'm going to start hating him. I'm literally afraid I'm going to start hating him. So I make the exact same prayer, and I don't start hating him. No rumination starts. 2 weeks go by. That's an eon. Okay, bud? And I'm just going to say this. I made the prayer like this because I was driving. I said, God, go bless your son. That's why I said just quick like that. Dude, listen, where did the temptation to ruminate go? It's because the spiritual darkness we are all under attack. It does not come to throw an interference. It doesn't come to throw an intercession. Okay?
All right. So, okay, Spider-Man. So, hey, by the way, do I call what did you say your name was? Because like it says homicidal. That sounds accurate to your story, but like I've been calling you Spider-Man.
Yeah, the account started as a place to put some game clips because I kept losing all my stuff on my game account, and that's my gamer tag. It's Thomas. Yeah,
Thomas.
You can call me Tom.
Okay, Thomas. So, all right. My assessment of like what you've told me is that I think you are well within your right, justified to feel all of the negative things that you felt for Jared was his name.
Yeah, but it was to my torment. It took my good days from me.
Right.
So loving him.
I think I understand that, man. And I'm not a therapist or anything like that. Yeah. And I'm certainly not an advocate for God or anything like this. But I just want to give you my assessment, and as you said earlier, take it or leave it. But I want you to consider it because it is, as I've said before, it is honest. So it seems to me you are somebody who experienced justifiable rage and hatred towards this person. They were an abuser, and I mean, I would feel the same way about that person. And this is something that consumed you so much that you wanted it to go away. Exactly. And your faith in God was able to do that for you. I think that I'm actually a little bit heartbroken that it did get you to a place where you felt like you needed to forgive him or even love him. I felt really, well. So I was like unusually silent for a really long time, just a few minutes ago. So I felt really uncomfortable hearing that. Maybe I misheard you. That in a moment when you were praying for him, you loved him more than your own children. And
I think I prayed for him harder than I ever had in the past because I was overcome with the spirit of love that
I just think that this is somebody who, like, they're not worth your prayers. When you pray, God's will be done either way, and I don't think that you should waste a second of thought on somebody who is like that. I don't think they are entitled or deserving of your love or your even your passivity. I think that you being belligerent to them is absolutely justified and even healthy, so long as it's not. It sounds like it was going to an unhealthy place, but I don't think that. I really don't think that going to this swing that you went to was the healthiest thing that you could have done, and I would blame your religion for that.
Well, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out because I will be what I want to do in my life is I want to go to prisons and talk to people who maybe followed through with some of the feelings I had of getting revenge, and I want to give them my testimony, and we can together maybe put our minds together about our situations and discover maybe a little deeper, about what it is we would rather have. I think what we really want is to understand who the true enemy is, what is causing this, because if God is good, and he is, man, I used to think how awful it must be for Satan to be separated from God's love, because that's for eternity, that's what hell is. People think hell and heaven are on earth. But actually, hell is just one thing. It's being separated from God's love. It's being separated from things like forgiveness, grace, provision, and ultimately just an embrace of provision really covers it, man. Being provided for on a level like a parent would.
All right. Well, Thomas, I'm going to bring up the next guest, but thanks for coming up. I hope that I hope that you give what I said some thought, and have a good one, man.
You too.
Hey, Yap House. I don't remember why. It was 2 nights ago. I think I got annoyed, and I just wasn't bringing you back up anymore. But I'm over it, so we can start fresh.
No, wonderful. Every day is a new start, right?
Yeah, let's restart that shit. Let me get another beer. I won't play the song, but I'm just gonna grab it real quick.
No, go for it.
Okay, I think it was a mistake not playing the song. That felt really naked. That felt really like. Could you hear me opening the fridge and shit?
No,
Okay.
but I think that like people that are uncomfortable with silence is kind of an indicator that you're uncomfortable with the silence within yourself. You know what I mean?
No, I love silence, but I'm so used to hearing that song play when I go to get it, and hearing silence on my live for that long. I'm like, something should be happening. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
The productivity that like capitalism and yada 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 blah 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 demands of us is a bane to our species. That's not the point though, right? So God is evil, Satan is better, neither are real. Do you understand that identity is also not real, technically?
what do you mean?
Well, identity is an idea that you make up every day.
I guess like it's like you're just labeling something like this can. I don't think that it's just like intrinsically a can. Like we call it a can because it's like we use it as one. It's like a pragmatism kind of thing. It's made up of a whole bunch of little teeny atoms, and those are made up of subatomic particles, and you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. But for our purposes, we're gonna just call it a can, and that's its identity for our purposes. So if that's what you mean, I'm inclined to agree.
No, yes, very literally, because we call it a can and because we use it as such, like in this moment, it is a can,
Okay,
right? It is a container to hold something.
sure.
But identity is very much the same way in the way that like it doesn't exist until you act on it. Does that make sense?
Give me an example or something.
Yeah, so like an alcoholic that doesn't want to stop drinking, right? But then decides to make a change for better within their life. And then they say, okay, well, then I'm not going to have a drink today. That identity doesn't exist and it's not real until they make it real.
Okay, yeah, like my identity was not a father until I had a son. Kind of like that. I did an action,
Mm,
I popped one off and became a little boy, and
I
now my
mean,
identity
like,
has changed because of my
do
action.
you, yeah, I think that father I think that being a parent is a little nuanced. I don't think that you necessarily have to have a Homo sapien child in order to be a parent. But I do think that I understand where you're going with this.
But like, does that accurately describe what you're referring to?
For the most part, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that I'm understanding what you're saying. I think I agree with
Yes. Yeah. So like, God is evil. God is only evil until we prove God to not be evil. Correct?
you. Yeah. So like, I don't remember. I think this might have been where we were at on Tuesday, where I think I was saying something like, I consider somebody to be evil if they perform. Oh yeah, it was like if they kill innocent people and God kills innocent people. It might have been a different guess, but it also could have been you. And I was like, that's just like how I consider people to be evil. And I don't remember. It might have been you, um, but it might have been somebody else saying like, well, yeah, I think it was somebody else. It might have been Style or somebody. Like, well, God, like, yes, he does that, yada yada, but that's like not evil. It's like, well, I think that this is a normative understanding of evil that both me and usually every person I talk to will agree, like, with what I'm saying. They just like are too like big, like hard-headed to ever admit it.
Yeah, no, I think that was
Like the identity
definitely
of the identity of being evil. You know, I'm a moral anti-realist, so this is ultimately a value judgment.
I don't know what any of that means, but I do think that was definitely a different person.
Okay, yeah. So like being a moral anti-realist, like I don't believe in objective morality. So like when somebody says that like I'm making a truth claim and I need to substantiate it, it's like sure, fair enough, but it's ultimately an opinion. It's a value judgment. I have a certain set of characteristics or actions someone could take to earn the title of evil and under my framework, and my framework is shared by the vast majority of humanity when it comes to like the most extreme forms of evil. You know, like it's pretty ubiquitous. So that's just what I use, you know. And ultimately, I don't think that evil is a thing that exists independent of us calling something evil, like kind of what you were saying. Identity isn't like intrinsically real. It's something that we like make up to identify shit. We label things, and that's sort of identity. But yeah, evil I consider to be like the same way, where it's not intrinsically real, but I can call God evil based on the criteria that I set for things being considered evil.
No, so I think that we make things real. I think that we like act on things, and then the vast majority can agree, hey, this is evil, this is good. Kind of like how we can agree, hey, this is a can and this is not a can, right? So like a glass is not a can, but an aluminum container that you pop the cap on in order to drink from is a can. That's not really what I'm saying, though. I'm saying like neither are real. That's the thing that I'm focusing on. So neither are real, but neither is identity.
Okay. Well, so what exactly is the like where are you getting at?
Yes. Okay. So neither are real. The subjective like perspective of morality is like it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
Not in an intrinsic
matters.
sense. Like it matters to individuals and to groups of people. But
no,
like,
it matters like on the whole. Like in the grand calculus of the cosmos, in the thing that leads to the next, in the cause and effect of everything, right? Whether you do something that is good or bad, then that leads to something that is maybe good or maybe bad. God isn't necessarily evil, even though I think that God is everything. Neither are real means nothing, like identity included, is real until you act on this thing.
So it sounds like God is everything. I don't remember exactly. Are you a pantheist? That sounds like pantheism.
No, I'm a monotheist, I think, because I believe that there is one thing.
Right. But if okay, like you and I are the same thing and everything is God, that sounds like pantheism. It just sounds like a certain version of pantheism where not only is everything God, but everything is just one thing. Like it's all a set, like all the things are just it's one set of things.
Yes, it's one set of things. One set is one thing.
I mean, like I agree with that too. I think that there's like an ultimate set of all of the facts, like the sum total of facts is one thing. Like I agree with that, but when I say that God is evil, I'm not really talking about this like grand meta perspective as if God is some real thing that exists. I mean like the concept of God that is typically put forth as like an agent that is ultimate and is either grounding reality or created reality or something like that. Based on our own moral framework, we would put him in the category of a person who's evil if we grant him personhood, which I think we'd have to if he's God. Now, your view is a little bit unique, but I think that this is just a difference in definitions. Like, I don't consider the universe to be God. You do. Like, I believe in the universe, and if the universe is God, then I believe God, right? But, like, that's not what most people usually mean, so on that front, I would be an atheist because it sounds like we agree
Yeah, no.
otherwise, and we're just using different labels.
No, contentious to be sure, but like my point is, if God, right, in most people's minds is good and Satan is the adversary of good, then God would love evil but not necessarily be evil. And aside from that, it's a thing that you make up, but it's not a thing that is necessarily not real. Does that make sense?
I think I see what you're trying to say. It's a little bit incoherent, but I think I get what you're getting at. But I think that your view is unique enough that I don't know that we have really much substance to talk about. I'll be honest, Yap House. Like, because like I'm gonna talk about God's actions, and you'll be like, yeah, but like God's everything, and he's sort of indifferent. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you're indifferent, you're not necessarily evil. I think that there's intention involved with being evil. If I kill someone on total accident and don't even know I did it, I don't think anybody would call me evil, right? Like it's like I do something that sets off a chain reaction that kills somebody, and if it weren't for me, I'd be the butterfly flapping my wings that causes a tsunami, right? The butterfly effect. Like I caused that to happen, but nobody would consider me evil for that. But if I did that on purpose, I was like, I know this is gonna set off a chain reaction to kill somebody, and I just love killing people. I think we would consider that person to be evil. But in your view, it seems like God is just like this thing that isn't, it's not really, it's like impartial. Like God doesn't, God is just
No.
everything. So God is not really a moral agent. In
Yeah,
in your
no,
view, it
no.
seems.
So like God, right, intends for good to happen, but when evil happens as a result, God kind of says, I didn't want that to happen. It happened anyway. And I'm grateful that it happened in order to inform the rest of everything else that happened.
So, but wait, but like, do you believe? I get my guests mixed up. I'm sorry. Are you of the persuasion that God is like triomni, where he's the all powerful, all knowing, and omnibenevolent?
As far as we can understand, yes. Don't be sorry though.
Because
Never be sorry.
well, I just want to make sure that because we have talked recently, and like I'm still asking like clarifying questions about who you are. But I know your name from a long time ago. We've talked a long time ago about who knows what, but because if God didn't want it to happen, but he's the arbiter of all events, and he in fact is all events, he would be the agents committing the action, then God would have intended it. So I don't know that God would ever say that he didn't want it to happen, especially if he's going to use it for like a greater good down the line. That's like the cost benefit ratio. He weighed the options and is like, this is what's going to happen. It seems like the evil done would ultimately be good. Like the other guest that I had a few guests ago, he was like talking about consequentialism, where like the ends justify the means, and it seems like that would be how this God is in your view. But like I don't know that he would ever say he did want it to happen. It seems like anything that happened is all just according to plan. If you've got this arbiter of reality that is all powerful and all knowing.
Yeah, so the only really thing that I can like really disagree with is God is a he. Like
I mean, I
don't
don't think that God would.
you know,
God is like however God identifies, right?
yeah, whatever the fuck.
We just always say he, so that's kind of what I do by habit.
It's the most like widely accepted term, so I understand that. But consequentialism, as a thing of like, will the ends justify the means, is kind of, yeah, the way that I view it, just as in like, it's the Tao, right? It's the yin yang. It's evil exists within good. It's kind of what we're seeing play out in real time within our world right now.
How do you feel about? There's this like syllogism that I heard not maybe a few months ago. How do you feel about this? Evil and good, or like evil is not good and good is not evil. Like they're opposites. But God would intentionally bring about evil because it would result in the most good. Therefore, the evil would be necessary. Therefore, it would be good that the evil happen, which means that evil is good. But then evil is defined as not good. So this would be like a contradiction. If evil
Yes.
is ever good, then it can't really be evil. Like there wouldn't be any evil.
No, yes, I think that we can make a clear distinction between evil and good, right? Because we're saying evil and good, but I also think that evil things can lead to good things. There is good within evil, and there is evil within good.
I mean, I agree with that too. I just think that if we base our judgment of what's good and evil based on
It's not practical.
it's not like things that we can't possibly know the ultimate outcome of. Like I do something that's like good, like I help somebody, like maybe I save somebody's life, but they become the next Hitler. It's like, well, that was actually bad, you know? But then what if like now there's this huge triumph and we all learn from it and there's no more Hitlers for the rest of time, but there would have been. Now it's an ultimate good because we overcame that evil. But then like I was gonna keep it going, but I can't do any more like worse Hitlers because of what I just said. But you get the point. Like you could have like a worse thing that comes of the like ultimate good supposedly that you thought was the ultimate good, but turns out there's a stronger evil that is as a result, and we can't possibly know what the outcome is. So when we say that things are good or evil, we're really just talking about like the actions and the intentions, and we're talking about what's practical, like what you said, it's practical.
Yeah, no, like not to make it anti-Semitic or anything, but World War II, right? Holocaust was bad. obviously millions of Jews dying is bad.
Thanks for
If
clarifying that.
people
Sometimes
from
we wonder over here about like our guests on that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Millions of Jews dying for no reason is bad. Just plain outright duh. And then if you can, so many World War II veterans are not alive today. And if they could see the consequences of their actions today, where Israel is actively enabling a genocide, it's like, damn, what did I do all of that for? You know, just to kind of repeat this cycle. There is good.
You should be like, we should
within
be
e-
like really careful at this point in the
I
conversation.
don't even know. Oh, yeah, about like what exactly we're saying, right? For
Yeah,
sure.
and I also just want to
But
be like, I don't want to get political either. I have a strict no politics, politics adjacent, I guess. And this is sort of politics adjacent. I just want to make sure that we're
for sure.
not getting into that. And yeah, like I don't want to talk about any of that stuff.
No, for sure.
But what
I'm
my
I'm
thought that
just
comes of that, like where we're saying that the Holocaust was evil. It seems like in your view, it would be for an ultimate good in God's view, because He allowed it to happen, which means it was always according to plan. Which means that God would say that while the Holocaust is evil, the Holocaust is good in God's view.
if it
Ultimately,
meant
it's
that it
more
was
good than
for
bad.
an ultimate if it meant that it was for an ultimate good to where no evil regarding this thing ever happened again, then yes, it would be ultimately good. However, you cannot know that in the moment, so it's not practical. You act on what is
I mean, if God is all
most.
powerful, then He could get an ultimate good without any holocausts.
I kind of disagree on that point, actually.
Well,
I actually disagree with that.
what do you think? I mean, what do you think that it means to be all powerful?
All powerful, meaning like you have all the power in the world to do the most good thing at this point in time. You can't know how the next domino falls. Do you know what I mean?
I'm
Oh
talking
my
about
god, I just took a look at the comments. Please ban this guy.
I did. I blocked him. He's spamming.
But yeah, no, like it's a moment to moment basis. So it's a very mortal perspective. It's a very like in this moment thing rather than viewing time as a whole. But yeah.
Hang on real quick. We'll do this. Thanks, AJ. I'll take that as an offer. So I just made AJ a mod because I had mods in here earlier. I think they've all gone to bed, but I just added AJ. So maybe we'll keep the spamming down. I won't have to do it myself. Oh shit! What was I gonna say? Oh, are you the guy who doesn't believe that the future is set? Oh, who said that? AJ. Thank you, AJ.
No, I haven't verbally spoken to you in a while, but I can
It was 2
agree
days
with the guy. Yeah, no, I haven't verbally spoken to you in a while, but I can agree that I don't think that the future is set.
Okay, because but do you think that God knows the future, even though it's not set?
I think that God can approximate the future. I think that God can say, as a result of this and this and this, then this is likely to happen. But then whenever the unlikely happens, it's like, wow, I didn't expect the domino to fall in that way.
So you wouldn't say, so earlier when you said that God is omniscient, like God's not actually omniscient. He just knows everything that's happened and everything that's happening now.
Yeah, God knows everything that has happened in the past and everything that is happening now, but God doesn't necessarily know everything that is happening in the future.
Now I'm just wondering, like, how do you get to this conclusion? Because a lot of people will just like, they'll just like defer to their dogma. Well, this is like what I heard in church or something, or this an apologist said this, but it's a unique view. So I'm wondering how you landed on this, that God knows the past and the present in all spaces, I assume, right? But he doesn't know the future absolutely.
Yeah. So God, in my view, is a thing that exists at the beginning of time, or at the end of time, rather than the beginning of time. So God knows everything that has happened up to this point. God does not know everything that will happen as a result of whatever has happened.
Oh, okay. When you said the end of time, I misunderstood you at first, but now I see what you're saying. The end of time is the present, right? In your view?
No, the end of time is like the future. God is a thing that will exist. It's not a thing that does exist currently.
Well, holy shit, dude.
So
it's like,
yeah, no. So like, hold on.
what?
This is going back to identity, right? We make things real as we live it.
You've got a really fucking fascinating view on this.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I'm
yeah,
blushing.
pals, like, yeah, pals. This is a much more enjoyable conversation than we had last time. And to be fair, I don't remember really what we said last time. I just remember I ended up being annoyed. But I'm having a good time talking to you. Although I do have another guest here, I want to give them a shot because I think that we're mostly this conversation. It's just me kind of trying to pick your brain about stuff. Oh my god, thanks, Bertram. I appreciate the snail. We're not really debating, so I want to give this person
For
a chance. Definitely come back some other time. I don't know if we'll have much substance there either next time. But you're welcome to come up and talk for a little bit anytime I'm live. If you continue to be like this, you're a lot more good faith than I remember you being last time. But again, I don't remember what the fuck happened last time. So
I love to troll, but I also love to have good conversation. And I'm entering my era of being the change that you want to be seen.
there you go,
within
Michael
the world.
Jackson.
So, like,
start with the man in the mirror. Yeah, hell yeah.
yes, absolutely. All right, give this guy some more time. It's late. Get your sleep, man.
Okay, good night, Yap House. All right, Jesus provides movement. Hi, are you at least 18?
I'm 31.
All right, and I assume on your name you believe in the Christian God?
Yes, I believe in Jesus, but I don't know if you talking about the Christian God, but yes, I believe in Jesus. I don't know what you mean about the Christian God.
That
I'm
would
not
be
a Christian.
Jesus. Jesus is like the God. So like you would be, so people who like
I'm
follow the
not a
teachings,
Christian.
people who
And Jesus
follow
wasn't a Christian.
do you believe that Jesus is God and that he like died on the cross to save
Yes,
humanity of their
yes,
sins? Okay,
yes,
so
a
all
billion
right.
percent.
It sounds like you're one of those guys. So you would be like, there's a word for this, where you like follow the teaching of Jesus, but you're not necessarily a Christian. It's called a
I'm
sadakmat. It's
no
called
religion.
right. So it's called a sadakmak bivtaj. So you can just refer to yourself as a sadakmak bivtaj,
I
and
would not.
people will know what you mean. Like you follow the teachings of Jesus, but you're not a Christian.
I will not refer to myself as that.
All right. Well, that's
I,
just the
I
term, but that's fine. But anyway, what you got, man?
well, okay, so Jesus never told us to go off and be a Christian, a Muslim, a Baptist, a Satanist, a Buddhist. He never told us to go off and do these things. He
Amen.
told us to go. He told us to go off and preach the word of God. That's the reason why I'm a part of no religion, and I choose not to be a part of religion, because he
Okay.
never told us to go off and be these things.
So, all right. Well, I've got some prompts on the screen, and it's that God is evil, Satan is better, and that neither are real. Which one would you like to engage with?
Let's engage with God is evil.
Okay. Yeah. So the reason I say God is evil, there's a few reasons, but I'll just
Mhm.
pick one. Since I don't know what your views are on like the Bible and stuff, since like you don't consider yourself to be a Christian, I'll avoid using scripture for this conversation unless you want to go into that. But I can talk about the world around us. So we've got an easy example we could use is we have cancer that causes people, including children, to suffer and die. And these people, I wouldn't say deserve to go through that. Would you say that, like, if you could, would the best moral thing for you to do in a given situation would be to just permanently end cancer? Do you think it'd be like the moral thing to do, or do you think the moral thing to do would be to not permanently end cancer?
Do you expect for like God to permanently end cancer?
Well, right now I'm just asking for an answer to my question. Like, so do you think that it's more moral? It's like the most moral thing you could do, when you have a choice, like you've got a button that ends cancer permanently. Is the most moral thing to do to push the button and end all that suffering, or is it to refrain from pushing that button, and allow the suffering and death to continue?
Remain from unpushing that button for they can for all the pain and suffering can keep going, for they can pass and come with me into heaven, for they can have eternal life inside heaven.
Okay, so your view is that it's actually more moral for people to die as soon as possible so they can have the fast track to heaven.
Correct.
Huh.
Correct. And I'm one of them that want to go along with the Father that's inside heaven.
So,
Yes, correct.
okay, so in your view, let me just make
Mhm.
sure I have this correct now. If
Right.
if you were to see a child and they're, I don't know if you believe in the age of accountability, but we'll say that they're like innocent, so they, like, if they die they go to heaven. Um, do you think that, like, would you say that, just you being like the most moral person, would you kill that child, like cut him in half and
No.
stuff, or smash their head? Because, like,
No.
but then they would go to heaven immediately, and that's the most moral good.
No,
If you
because
refrain
God said do
from,
not do murder. That's on the 10 Commandments. So why would I do that?
but don't you think that their death would be justified if they go to heaven? If they were to die of like natural causes, you think it's justified?
Yes.
Right. So their death is
But why?
justified. But it's
But why?
justified in your view. It's justified because they go to heaven, right?
Right. But
Right.
why do
But so
something
then,
that
if
that
you
God
kill
told
them,
me not to do?
but if you kill them, they still go to heaven. Oh my God! Thanks, Christina the Godless. Request up, Christina, if you're able to, because I love you. I never talk to you, so yeah. But like in your view, oh my God, I wish I had a song. I play songs for co-hosts, and I don't have
Okay.
one for
Okay.
Christina.
Can I say something real quick, brother?
Okay.
Okay. So first off, God didn't promise us on this earth eternal life. He did not say you will have eternal life on this earth. He said you will have eternal life inside the kingdom of heaven. So this life right here wasn't promised for us to have eternal life.
Okay.
A lot of satanic people that I go to and that I preach the word to, they all tell me the same thing. They be like, "Hey, why God cannot just end cancer? Why he can't end hunger? Why he can't stop the people from getting raped and killed and things like that?" I tell them every single time, even though I tell you, I tell them every single time. I say that this earth was not promised eternal life to us. Adam and Eve had that choice. They broke it for all of us.
Okay. Well, so I heard you. It's not relevant to what we were talking about, but I did hear what you said.
It is, because that's what you was talking
It's
about.
not, because I was talking about a specific scenario where you said that you wouldn't kill the child because it wouldn't be justified. But what
Right,
justifies their dying is going to heaven. So you doing it should still be totally fine because it's justified. Like, do you
No.
think that, Well, then let me
No, it
ask you.
won't.
Let me ask you this then. What if somebody else was going to kill the child? Do you think it's more moral to stop the killer, or the potential killer, or do you think it's more moral to allow it to happen? This is like a parallel of the cancel button thing that you said it's more moral to refrain from pushing the cancel button. Do you think it's more
I
moral to
will.
refrain from saving the child's life from this like machete wielding maniac?
I would stop the person from trying to kill the child because it's something called doing a good deed, and one and even though you don't get into heaven off those good deeds, the only way that you get into heaven is believing that Jesus came to die for us and that he rose again on the third day.
So
That's the only way that you can
JPM,
get
like
into heaven.
I think this is a little bit inconsistent here because you said earlier that you think that the most moral thing to do if you could push a button to end cancer would be to not push the button,
Correct.
because
And I still
people will
stand on
die,
that.
and you said because people should die as soon as possible to get to heaven as soon as possible. You agreed to that already. Now, if this child is going to be sliced in half by
No,
a
I
machete and
said
they die, that
I
you agreed to that earlier.
yeah, I kind of agreed to it. What
You
you
did.
to it,
Now, but
but the
like if
way
the child,
you
you're not the one
saying
doing the
it,
killing, somebody else is doing it, you would be allowing it. So in your view, it would be more consistent for you to allow this crazy maniac to
no,
slice the kid in half.
no.
But here you are preventing a child from going to heaven, and now, like I think that that's great. At least
It's how you remixing it.
practically. What should I call you, by the way? JPM, is that fine?
Uh, uh, J Fame.
J-Fame. Okay, so well, at least
Yeah.
practically, I'd say that your actions would make you a better person than not. I think your philosophy, and you don't call it religion, that's fine. Your beliefs, I think that they're in contrast, in dissonance with what you would do in a given scenario. Like this cancer button, it's not practical, it's not a real thing, but when I took it into the real world where there's a crazy maniac that's going to do the killing instead of cancer, and you could physically tackle a guy who's wielding a machete, but there's no such cancer button for you to push. I think you saw the parallel that like God could push that button, and you want to justify God, so you will say that refraining from it is ultimately good. But when it's practical, you won't say that it's correct to refrain from intervening. I think it's just a little bit. I think there's some dissonance going on here.
So basically, what I'm trying to say is, and to sum up your whole story and everything that you're saying right now, basically what I'm trying to say is, I trust in my God, I trust in my Father, and I believe everything that He's doing is absolutely right. It don't matter about him pushing a stop button to end cancer, to end a killing, to end this. That time will come. That time will come, but only on his time. When the time is when the revelations and the how you say that when we all get pulled up into heaven, when
The
that time
rapture.
comes, the rapture.
Ooh, I have a quick question, actually, guest, about the rapture. If you're taking a shit when you're being raptured, does God let you finish shitting, or do you just like shit on everybody as you're like going up?
I've wondered this
You're
myself.
gonna automatically go up. It don't matter what you're doing. You can be
Thanks, Miss.
you can be up in the fields. You can be up in the fields. You can be laying in bed. He said whatever. You're still going up.
If you're hanging
If
on to
you
somebody who's not supposed to go up, do you drag them up with you?
you can't drag them up. You can't drag them up with you. They can't drag you up with you.
Well, what if you're like
It's
chained to
like
them?
in
This is not the movie. This is the end. When I know what you're thinking about with the boy dragging the other person up into heaven. Now, this is not that type of party. This is God's party. This is not that type of party. Yeah,
this is God's party.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm probably too elevated to be up here. I'm just gonna be a giggly dum dum.
It's
Yeah,
okay. We
this ain't that
appreciate
type.
you, giggly dum dum. By the way, Christina, I wanted to like, I had been meaning to DM you about this, but then like I was a lazy piece of shit and didn't do it. I'm strongly considering starting up TSP again. You remember that? The secular perspective.
Mhm.
Would you be interested in doing that if I did it? Joyful's not a part of it.
Yeah.
Cool.
It would just be like a set. Would it be like a set thing or like a?
Yeah,
I don't know how
like
you guys did it, but
yeah. So it would be a co-hosted live where you got I would probably start it most likely at like 9 p.m. Eastern. And go for at minimum 2 hours. But as long as the host discretion, whoever I have in any given evening,
Mhm.
they can end it whenever. But like at least 2 hours, and I want to do 3 nights a week. So I've got a lot of people committing to like once a month. I don't want to like name drop people, but just in case they like change their mind or something. But like Jaren is agreeing to do it. Apostate Abe Cyber. Do you know Skeptical Heretic Taylor?
Mhm.
Yeah, so she's said she could do once a month. Robot Goat. A whole bunch of people
yeah,
have like
totally.
they're
Yep, I
down.
can.
You know.
Yeah, I just can't do it on Sundays because that's a Bible libel, the newest
No,
game show that
yeah, that's your thing, right? I saw,
that we've
and Matthew's a
started.
part of that.
Yes.
Matthew's not really in the limelight a whole lot.
No, he isn't, and he is so freaking funny. So I'm glad
He's
that we
smart
talked him
too.
into.
He's
He
smart.
really is.
I was watching it on the couch with my wife, and I was like, "Look, this dork wrote probably the maybe was it like the majority, maybe slightly the majority of CBJ's book."
Christ. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this guy's like, he's really smart. But he's I actually I asked ChatGPT about him. I'm like, what can you tell me about Matthew Britt? And it had information on him. It didn't have anything about Jared Wingo except that he's the co-author. But it's like, oh, he's a chef. Did you know that? Is that true?
I did not. I don't.
Apparently,
I
he's
did
a
not.
chef.
I don't know.
According to ChatGPT, if you ask ChatGPT about him, he's a chef.
I'm gonna ask him at our next business meeting.
Right. Sorry for doing
Are you
business. Oh shit. J Fame. Yeah. Sorry about that. I just wanted to, while I had Christina here, I wanted to make sure that I got that out of the way. But what were we talking about? Like the rapture?
shit?
Oh yeah.
You don't drag people up with you, but like if
Yeah.
let's say like, but what if?
But you do stop shitting? I don't think he answered that part. So do you stop shitting, or does God?
I already answered
Is it?
that
But
part.
is it like because you go up regardless? So he doesn't let you finish. So like
Yeah,
when
I
you're
re-
going up, does it like all over people?
Yeah,
Or
I already answered that. I can't believe that
You're
it
just
skipped. It
you're
skipped
just
her
shitting on
mind.
non-believers.
no? But you said that
Sorry,
like
you
you don't
were
get to
in Boma's
finish.
live being really ridiculous, and you've been in Boma's live 5 nights in a row talking about nonsense. So I thought maybe I could ask you a stupid question, but
It does
Oh, you
sound
said
like
I've been in who?
he don't know about, but he don't know who he's been talking to.
Hold on, who live I've been in?
Born Again Atheists. You were
Boma.
just there like
Oh yeah,
5
yeah,
minutes
yeah,
ago.
most definitely. Yeah, I try and always get her to turn back to Jesus. I talk to every satanic person, every satanic person I can find.
I might
I
be the
go.
first satanic person you've ever talked to. Hang on, we've got Scuba
No,
Squad Apologetics
it's
coming
not
up. We'll try him instead.
Oh,
it's not satanic. He says santanic, like Carlos Santanic.
Santanic. Oh well, the guest I was bringing up just dropped. So somebody else. Oh wait, is he up? He's here.
No,
Oh,
he's there.
hey, what's up, Scuba Squad? Are you at least 18?
Hey,
Can you hear me? Are you at least 18?
yes,
Cool. And I'm guessing based on the crosses, you're a Christian?
Okay. Well,
yes.
that's a delay.
Oh, major delay.
I'm gonna drop. I gotta go to bed, but I keep thinking it's Friday, but it's Thursday, and I have to work tomorrow.
Yeah,
I gotta work tomorrow too.
It's because my Wi-Fi. Hold on, it's because my Wi-Fi. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll turn my Wi-Fi on. I'm sorry.
It's all
I
good.
got my
Bye.
Wi-Fi on. I'm sorry.
Good
It's
night,
'cause my
Christina.
Wi-Fi. I turned it
Everybody
back
follow
on. There you
Christina
go. Can
before
you hear
she
me better?
drops off.
And DM me about the show. I'm very interested.
Sure, yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'll DM you. Remind me if it takes a while. If I don't DM you within like a week, I forgot. So just hit me up if it happens.
Okay. No problem. Good night.
Good night. Okay. So
So
scuba
Lobes,
squad. I'm gonna. We should test the delay. I'll count to 3, and once I say 3, I want you to say 4. All right. So 1, 2, 3.
4.
There's still a delay, but it's not nearly as bad as it was before. So I think it'll be
Yeah.
manageable. I'm gonna get off in a few minutes, but you'll probably be the last guest. So yeah, I've got some
Awesome.
prompts here. What do you want to talk about, man?
Yeah, the first one. The first one, God is evil. So I would like to know your justification of what is evil and what's not evil without God.
Right. So that was something that I struggled with when I stopped believing in God, because when I was a Christian, I was like, whatever God says goes type thing. Um, so my framework is that I'm a moral anti-realist. I don't think that these things exist independent of us. I think they're ultimately value judgments. So I have a certain set of criteria that people can fall into to be considered evil if they commit certain actions. Like in my opinion, if somebody kills innocent people, or if somebody allows somebody to suffer when they could save them, it without any like threat or cost to themselves, I usually would consider them to be evil, or at least not very good. Do you agree with that?
So let's say I play devil's advocate in that situation, and I say, in my opinion, I think that I should make others suffer so that I can survive. What is wrong with that? And your worldview
Well,
without God.
yeah, sure. So I would say that like making other people suffer is not integral to your survival, so you don't have to worry about that.
Actually, it would be. What if other people would suffer and therefore I could survive because they suffer and I can make them slaves? What is hypothetically, if I could do that, then that would be okay. It worked. It actually
No,
did work
so it's
before the
the
Civil War.
problem is that it's not necessary. Causing suffering is not necessary to survival. Otherwise, we would all be like making sure that we make some people suffer
Could
in
people
order to live.
survive by making other people suffer? Could people survive by
Yeah,
making
they could, but that would be
therefore
yeah, that would be, in my view, that's like a position that I would think is like an evil. Like if you could live without causing suffering, but you just choose to do the route of survival that includes suffering, I would consider you to be an evil person, because you're just
but
doing
Lowe's, that's your opinion.
you're causing suffering arbitrarily.
But Lowe's, that's your opinion. Who cares what you
Yeah.
believe?
Well, what's your opinion? Do you agree with my opinion? Is that your view? Do you share it?
Well, I have a justification for why I believe what I believe. You don't.
But
That's the point.
like, so what I found, so Scuba, what I
You
found
don't
is
have a
that
reason.
usually, Scuba, to say that I don't have a reason is very silly, because it makes it sound like everything that I say is arbitrary, but it's obviously not arbitrary. You could accurately
Definitely
predict my moral values with probably over a 90% margin of success. That's an indication it's anything but arbitrary. It's based on harm, it's based on flourishing, it's based on very common, very obvious and intuitive human values, right? Now,
Based on
what I
opinion.
have found though is that I will meet a lot of extraordinarily dishonest people who will never ever say that they agree with my moral framework when they're discussing this particular topic with me, because they know that once they do, everything they say will just fall completely apart. Are you one of those people?
No, it's just Lowe's that when you talk, it's like you're only suggesting your opinion, and I don't
I already
believe in
told you
people's
it's
opinion.
ultimately an opinion. It's ultimately value judgments at the ground level.
Well, mine is not based on my opinion. Yours is. That's the point.
What's
Mine
yours
is
is
based
based
on
on?
the foundation of God's existence. Yours is not. So if you don't believe that God exists, then therefore anything could happen. In fact, you could torture a baby for fun. It'd be totally okay.
So
In your opinion,
morality. So
and some other
here's
thing, and it could.
here's a little bit of my journey. I believed very similar to what you believe, if not the same thing, when I was a Christian. And when I stopped believing in God, I was like, whoa, holy shit! Like, where do I get my morality from? Does morality exist? You know, is it what's good, what's bad? And I was like, you know, I don't know that I have a justification in this moment. I just know I still feel like this is good or that's bad. I still have these feelings, and I'm not going to just go out and start doing crazy things that I already consider to be wrong. And some people never had the God concept, and they still have what you and I would probably agree to be pretty altruistic lives. Morality exists in some form or fashion, regardless of if there's a God. People don't always ground it in God. So morality is not strictly based on this concept. Now yours is evidently, or it's either based on that, or it's based on something else you get from something else, but you attribute it to God. Either way, but it's not necessary to have God in order to have morality, because lots of people have. I mean, I have morality, but I don't believe in God.
So you don't believe in absolute morality, is what you're saying, right?
I don't believe
So
in objective morality. However, there are lots of secular people who do.
So if that's true, if you don't believe in objective morality, and I agree with you, Lobes, I think you're a good guy. I think you think that good should come to people. All right, I think you're a good person. I think that you think that good should come to people. I think I'm a good person. I think good should come to people. Well, actually, I wouldn't consider myself good based on my own religion, based on my own worldview, but based on the worldly view of what is good, right? What we consider good, I would consider you a good person. You think that good should come to people, and I think good should come to people. But my point is that there's no justification on what is good and what is not good. What if someone does believe that they should cause harm to people? They should torture babies for fun, for example. Just given that example, that's a hypothetical situation in our sense, because it's not what we agree with.
If somebody,
hold on, just a second. If you believe that it's arbitrary, then you would be forced to accept their opinion as truth.
No, I've already told you I don't think it's arbitrary. I've already told you I don't think it's arbitrary, and I explained
so it's not,
why.
So it's not objective?
It's not.
So
just because it's not objective doesn't mean it's just arbitrary. That's a false dichotomy.
Well, no, I think there's only two certain situations here. Either it's subjective or it's not objective. Okay, either it's based on something.
Something being subjective is not being arbitrary.
So explain to me the other way then, because I'm confused here.
Something being arbitrary is it has no reason. That's arbitrary. All right. Something being subjective, it's based on a subject.
What is the reason? The reason is based on an opinion of you? Because that wouldn't make any sense.
It's not just an opinion of me. Like, it's not just my opinion. Like, my opinions are based on my values. I have core values that are like a ground level of how I formulate my moral structure. And some of those values are like human flourishing, reduction of unnecessary harm. Do you think that these values are good values?
Well, from my worldview, I can justify that they are, yes, but from yours,
so you would say yes. Well, it's irrelevant, man. I feel like when people try to undermine an atheist, I think when people try to undermine atheist morality, it's really just trying to get out of what's to come if we finally ever do get to the actual substance of the topic. Because if we say that X action is evil, if we agree on that, which you never will, by the way, you never will. I don't think you're good faith enough to say X action is evil, because then I could say God did that, and you would have to concede. So you would just say, well, you can't justify your morality, atheist. I'm never going to answer this question.
Well, that's I'm a different type of Christian. So I'm an actual Christian. So if you ask me that question, I'm going to go based on scripture, right? If you ask me that question, let's say that what is evil is against what God commands of His creation, right?
Sounds arbitrary to me. Sounds pretty fucking arbitrary. Like, so your moral structure is based on whatever God says.
No, it's based on what God commands of His creation.
What God says.
At one time in His creation, God said to do.
It's based on command. And why does God command certain things? Because
He's the creation. He's the foundation.
That's not an answer. Like, why does God command? Why does God say that theft is bad?
Because he says that if you steal, that you're it's against his rules, right? It's against his
That's
law.
not an answer. Why does God say theft is bad? What's the reason God has for saying theft is bad? Or is it just arbitrary?
So now here I see what you're saying. You're basically creating like a circular reasoning instance here, but I agree with you that there is circular reasoning within any ultimate authority. Any ultimate authority will have some sort of circular reasoning, because if you don't have circular reasoning, then it's not an ultimate authority. It has to be a circular around something, right?
I can't help but notice you didn't answer my question.
Mine isn't a vicious circle. Yours is. Here,
I can't help
using
but
it
notice
as
you
a
didn't answer
opinion.
my question.
No, I'm answering your question fully
You didn't
here.
answer
You're not
my
listening.
question. You know,
No, I am. You're not
no, you're
listening.
not. What's the question you think you're answering?
I look. I asked you a question, and I want you to respond.
What is the
How
question you
is
think you're
torturing a baby for fun
answering?
wrong?
Scuba, what is the question you think you're answering?
Other than your opinion, tell me why torturing a baby for fun is wrong. Please.
What is the
I asked
question you
this
think you're
question earlier,
answering?
didn't
You
answer
did
it.
not answer my question, by the way.
You didn't answer mine either. So
You didn't answer my question. What's the answer you
So
think
you
you were
think it's okay
questioning?
to torture a baby for
You
fun?
don't remember the question I was answering.
Is it okay to torture a baby for fun or
Do
not?
people need to be this dishonest when talking about morality, or is it just
No,
Christians?
I'm literally asking you an objective moral question here. Is torturing baby for
You
fun
you
wrong?
haven't been paying attention this
So you
entire
can't
time
admit
because I've
you
already
can't admit
told you
this?
that I don't believe in objective morality. And this is a
Loads.
complete. This is not answering my
That makes
question.
it okay
When
to
you
torture a
started,
baby for fun. You
when
understand
I
that,
started
right?
when I started asking you a question, you tried to answer, or you claimed you were answering it, but you never did. Then you went back to a question when I told you didn't answer my question. So you were you were allegedly willing to answer the question, but what I said earlier that you will never answer this question, you're proving me right. I said you would never answer this question, and you are refusing to, just like I said you
My
wouldn't, because you're
Lord,
bad
so
faith, just like
I'll
all
answer
these
my
motherfuckers
question.
are.
My Lord says it's wrong to steal. He says in his 10 commandments, he said in his foundational 10 commandments, he says, thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not steal. That is my commandment, to not steal. Now, in my heart, in my conscience, I know in my heart that I shall not steal, because I am built, I am created in his image, and I have that conscience in my brain,
That doesn't answer my
soul.
question.
So what the freaking crap? What do you mean that doesn't answer your
My
question?
question, you were almost there. My question was, why does God say we should not steal?
That question doesn't have to be answered. The God of the universe is that's my
serious,
point.
man.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
definitely
my God.
serious,
So it
because
is
that's the
arbitrary.
circle.
It's just arbitrary.
No, it's not. No,
It
it's
is arbitrary.
based on a
Well,
foundational
wait, ask
principle of
me,
God.
ask me why we shouldn't steal. Do it.
Okay, why should you not
Do it.
steal?
I don't have to answer that question. That question doesn't have to be answered. Now, what do you say?
So is it based on what though?
Oh, it's not based on anything. I don't have to answer that
Who
question.
told you that you shouldn't steal? No. And the answer
Nobody.
was, be honest. Who told you you shouldn't steal? Who told you?
I just shouldn't. I just shouldn't. I don't have to answer your question.
Is that your opinion?
I'm just
So
gonna mirror your
here's-
answer.
here's
If you
where
think
the
my answer is
vicious
stupid,
circle-
I'm just mirroring your answer.
Lobes. Listen, bro. I love you, man. I love you. Just listen.
Okay.
Listen. I'm literally
married.
trying to explain this. Okay, can I please explain this? Okay, let me explain. Yours is a vicious circle. Mine is a logical circle. Mine is based on an ultimate authority. Yours is based on an opinion of yourself, which
Yours is based on God's opinion. God's arbitrary opinion.
Mine is based
because when
on
I
an
asked you for
alternate
his
authority's
reasoning,
opinion.
you basically told me
I
he
didn't
does
say
not
the
have
Christian
reasoning. You basically told me he doesn't have reasoning because it's arbitrary. Not stealing is arbitrary.
It's not
You said does
arbitrary.
not
It's
need an
based on the
answer.
foundational principle of God's opinion and not a person's opinion. Not a human
Exactly.
opinion.
Well, is God a person?
Yours is based on a human's perspective.
So,
yours is a
what's the
vicious circle
difference?
and mine's a logical circle.
What's the
There is
difference?
a such thing as a logical
What's the
circular
difference
reasoning.
between my opinion and God's opinion?
Okay, do you agree that there's such thing as a logical circular reasoning? Do you understand the difference between vicious circular reasoning and logical circular reasoning?
I know that like when you use the word vicious, it's like something that doesn't work. Like with a vicious
They
infinite
commit
regress,
self-suicide.
you
Yes.
know.
Yeah. Logical suicide.
Right. But like I'm just I don't like this is identical. Like if you're gonna say that mine's
It's not
arbitrary because it's
identical.
based on my opinion, but God's is not arbitrary, but it's based on God's opinion. What is the symmetry breaker?
Lobes, here's the breaker. I'll tell you the breaker. What makes your opinion different than Smittler's opinion?
Wait, that's a question.
Yeah, that's the point.
I
What
asked
makes
you a
your opinion
question.
different than Smittler's opinion?
I asked
Like,
you a
based on your
question
own worldview,
first.
please
Oh my
explain that.
God, I asked you a question first. This is the thing about dude.
Lobes, I'm
This is the
just
thing about
questioning
these types
your
of people,
response
man. They can
there.
never answer questions.
Lobes, I'm just questioning your response, bro. Listen,
Holy
listen,
fuck,
bro,
man.
listen.
Are you gonna be good faith or not,
Smittler's.
man? I really need you to be
I'm
good faith if
trying
you're
to
gonna be up
be.
here. You're not answering
I'm
questions.
trying to
You're
be.
asking
So
me
you're just gonna
questions
knock
in
me out just because
response.
you don't like
It's
what I say? Come
disappointing.
on, man. Come
Well,
on. I'm
then
asking you
instead
why
of
your
asking me a
opinion.
question and dodging mine, just answer my question and we can move on.
I am asking you. The reason why I'm asking you this question is to let you notice how foolish your answer is.
Answer the
How
question
can
with a
you?
statement.
I'm
Don't
not
answer the
trying to call
question
you
with
a
a
fool.
question. Don't answer the question
Lobes,
with a
I'm not.
question, Scuba. Answer the question with an answer.
Lobes, I'm not trying to call you a fool. Okay, I'm just
What's
trying to
the
say your
difference?
answer is
I didn't
foolish
ever
because
suggest that you said so. But what is the difference? But what's the symmetry breaker between my opinion and God's opinion?
yes, and I'll admit. Okay, I'll totally tell you. My opinion is based on a foundational principle. Yours is not. Yours is based on a human opinion. Mine is based on a God opinion.
What's
Okay,
the
mine is
difference?
based on a God's foundation. Yours is based on a human foundation, in which Smittler could be right in your foundation. So that's
No,
why I asked you, what is the difference between your opinion and Smittler's opinion?
no, that's not the same. So, I asked
Oh,
you,
okay,
I
well,
asked
all
you a
right, I'm
direct
gone.
question,
No, I'm
and
gone, bro.
you're
That's
dancing
all I can
around it.
say. I'm not dancing around anything, man. I totally
You
told you
are.
exactly
You said your opinion. You didn't tell me the difference. You didn't tell me the symmetry breaker. You told me what your opinion's based on. That's not an answer to the
a
question.
foundational God, and yours is not. That's my
What
argument
is the holy
I'm
fuck?
not going to convince you of my God. I understand. I'm not going to convince you of my God.
Okay, so what is the difference? What
Lobes,
is
I'm
the
not going to
symmetry
convince you
breaker
of my
between
God.
my opinion and God's opinion? What's the symmetry breaker? I don't need your
Because
opinion or what
mine
your
is
opinion's
based on an
grounded on.
ultimate authority,
No,
and yours is
I
based on a
didn't. You are
non-ultimate
nowhere in
authority.
my question. I didn't ask anything about you in my question. What is the difference between God's opinion and my opinion? What's the symmetry breaker?
God's opinion is based on an ultimate authority. Your opinion is not based on an ultimate authority. Your
And
opinion
what
is
is
based
this
on the
authority based
creation
on? How does
of mankind.
God obtain this authority?
What do you mean? How does God? He's the author of that authority. Like how? Okay, so in a scientific world, you would observe things based on observation, right? A testable, observable observation, right?
Yeah.
What I'm asking you, based on just pure logic, like nothing. I know you don't agree with my God. I know you don't believe in God at all. Probably you're an atheist. Okay, God. Maybe you're an atheist. I guess you're an atheist. You said God is. I don't know. Neither is real. There you go. You said neither is real. That's in your third thing. Yeah. So you don't believe that God exists at all. Okay. So just based on a logical principle, how do you get evil without a God at all? How do you get a pure absolute evil
Oh
without
man,
God? Because
I thought. Wait. I thought that you were like explaining. I thought you were
goes against your
explaining
third.
the question. But now you're just asking me more questions. You know what, Scuba? You cannot track
No,
this
I'm
conversation.
asking
You're
a
way too
question based on
dishonest to
what
be
you
up
told.
here. You're just way too dishonest to be up here, man. I'm just like my patience is gone. I'll bring this freaking guy up again, even though he was like. I'll just bring J-Fame up again. Holy fuck, man. Apologists are some of the most dishonest people you'll ever meet. It's all rhetoric. It's all like charisma. It's all flipping your question back on you. Never getting a direct answer. Who is here? Put a 1 in the chat if you were here when you if you were here when I said you will not answer this question, and he did not answer the question. And at one point, he even said, "I won't answer the question." I mean, it's like typical, predictable, stupid bullshit. To prove God or to prove God's good, you must be dishonest. That's the only fucking way. They absolutely know they have to be dishonest to convince people, and even then their arguments. So, you know, that's true. That's true, Miss Casey. Now, how many of y'all have been watching me for a while? Like not just today, but like before. Like,
I wonder what's
I
going. You
don't,
can hear me?
I do not get like, I do not get worked up like that. It's quite impressive when somebody can get me to be that worked up. Sorry, J-Fame. I didn't have anybody when I brought you up again, but now I have a new person, so I'm gonna drop you down, okay? Yeah. Hey, oh god, okay, so, Navajo Enclave, did I say that right?
Navajo.
Navajo. Oh, fucking obvious, I should have known that. I'm so stupid. Okay, so what, how old are you?
Okay. 32.
Okay, I'm assuming you're Christian?
Yeah.
Okay, what you got, man? What do you want to talk about?
Well, God is good, all knowing. But if you want to get to the straight nitty gritty of it, as humans, we have our understanding of limited logic and reasoning, you know, being finite, created beings of, you know, God. He has infinite knowledge, reasoning that obviously limits our understanding of why it is ought to be. I mean, we can make our own assumptions, perspectives, experiences from our own, you know, subjective reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, right. I mean, I'll admit that's true. Like if God does something that's seemingly evil to us, but it's not for reasons beyond our understanding, I don't think we'd be justified in saying the true thing that it's a good thing if it's actually good somehow. I don't think we'd be justified in saying so, since as you pointed out so correctly, that our logic and reasoning would be limited and not anywhere close to what God's is. I think we'd be justified in coming to the incorrect conclusion that God is evil in that circumstance, right?
So it's evil to purposely, if I'm not assuming that's your perspective, but to put in form that, would you think that it's evil for a creator to make us purposely limited at this point in time in this reality to only know what we're allowed to know? You know, not knowing what the full
That's
reasoning
not,
is.
well, that's not where my moral claim really comes from. It's so I don't think that on its face is. It just depends on what is entailed from that. What I was saying is that, with what I was just saying, is that I think we're justified in coming to the conclusion that God is evil, even if God is good, but like that fact is not knowable. Like if he does something, right? Let's say God does an action, like he kills a whole bunch of kids, which he does. And we're
So
like, well,
God
there's no
comes
way we
down
can
in physical
justify.
form to kill kids?
What?
So would you say that God comes down into physical human form to physically take away kids out of his own
No,
justified?
what the thought in my head was like the flood in Genesis. So, but like, so if God is, so let's say we're evaluating that. The only conclusion I can come to with my limited human understanding is that, wow, he's like super evil. And God's reasoning transcends mine. Like if he uses rape as punishment, like in 2 Samuel, well, holy shit, that's evil. But like maybe he transcends my understanding, so maybe it's good somehow, but I can't possibly understand it through my own logic or my own reasoning. I'm not justified in coming to this supposed true thing that he's good and justified, because I can't make the case for it. Or if he like causes parents to eat their children, like in Leviticus. Cannibalism is punishment. It's very sick. I cannot justify that. I'm not capable. I don't think that anybody can. But it seems like people will just appeal to, well, he must have a good reason. but I don't think they're justified in believing that.
Right. To go back to the story of Noah, how God flooded the earth due to human creation becoming corrupted and evil, and essentially to put it in simple form as an idea, as a creator of trying to make something, as best and perfect without flaw. Of course, as you're creating something, you're going to have hiccups, flaws, and things that would essentially
Even
possibly
God?
turn against you. Yeah, like
But
it's
God's
in
all
the form
powerful,
of
right? You don't hold that he's all powerful?
yeah, he's all powerful. I mean,
Well, then
just
he
like
won't make
a
mistakes.
scientist.
It's not possible for him to make mistakes.
Sure, but you're also gonna have essentially experiments. It's like, well, let's see if this works as
Wait,
best as
isn't
it could
God all
possibly
knowing?
be. Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
then what do
he's
you
all
mean? Like,
knowing.
let's see. Like, he already knows. He's not going to ever need to do experiments.
Well, you're going to have different kind of forms of creation, just like how we have animals in general. How, like I said, as putting in human experience of understanding as we create things. We want to see what would work, what doesn't work, and know objectively this is not going to work, but also giving us the human experience of trying not to lose my train of thought here, of free will, allowing the creation to have its own choice of doing what. And obviously God all knowing that a majority of its creation are going to choose to do wrong, you're just going to essentially delete and destroy that said creation entirety because it could possibly go wrong.
Do you
Like a
think?
computer has bugs and
Uh,
viruses.
do you think that God is capable of creating a world where there is free will, but there is no hiccups or bugs or viruses? Or do you think he lacks that power?
I mean, everything would be a hive mind at that point where everything is just all the same, no diversity,
So the
no
answer is
difference.
yes, he could.
I mean, hypothetically, sure, but
Right. So then he
doesn't choose.
deliberately chose something that. So he was like, I could create this world that won't have any problems, or I could create this world where there will be a ton of problems. I'm going to choose the one with a ton of problems. That's
He
what
gives
happened.
us the free will he gives us the free will to choose to do right,
Right.
to self-correct,
So
or
God,
left our own devices. We would
God,
choose to do wrong on
I
our
have to
own.
always grant free will. I don't think it's possible, but let's say that God gives us free will. God is in his omnipotence. I could create this world where everybody has free will and everybody chooses to do the right thing, or I can create this world where everybody has free will and they end up causing a whole bunch of destruction and suffering. I'll choose the one that's not perfect with the destruction and the suffering and the rape and the child cancer and the leukemia and all that stuff. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, that's just it's not necessarily the most ideal living existence of experiences for humans. Understanding the empathy of someone going through, sickness, going through all these horrible atrocities, etc., but also choosing the right thing despite the negative experiences in the environment and within our own selves of our human existence, pretty much. Choosing to find a way within ourselves to help others, that act of empathy, that act of choice to do right, and hopefully in belief together as individuals believe in that same kind of mind ideology to help one another, to help as best as we can possible, obviously knowing that we are not God. We're as best to understand the reasoning like God to do that said right.
Okay, so you said that it's like the world we live in is not like ideal for human conditions and stuff, and I obviously agree. Do you think that if somebody is all good and all loving, all benevolent, that they will always do the most morally good thing? Like that's the tautology, right? Like that's obvious.
Yeah, essentially.
Right. So like, do you think that it is the morally good thing to try to foster an environment that is the most ideal for someone you care about? Or do you think it's more morally good to not try to foster the best environment for someone you care about?
I can put it this way. In my opinion, putting someone through comfort will give them only a certain view of understanding of certain, like, certain extent. But when you push somebody into survivability, and put them through a difficult environment, you can have them self-learn these surviving techniques to exceed and grow through these trials and tribulations to pretty much be more, not superior necessarily, but be able to have the skills to.
It's not like a direct answer. I see you like trying to like you saw the issue I was bringing up, right? And like I think that's fair enough. You're trying to kind of like just explain it. Now like the thing is though, God, in your view, he's all powerful, he's all knowing, he's all good. The triumphant God. God does not need to put us through anything in order for us to understand things. We can understand whatever he wants us to understand, regardless of our circumstances. If he couldn't make us understand without the circumstances being relevant, that or with the circumstances needing to be a certain way, he just wouldn't be all powerful.
Would you want to grant somebody the privilege to basically understand everything without being able to learn it yourself? Or would you like to have the more, not necessarily grueling, endless...
I'll put it this way. I don't think... I won't say that God needs to take away all the suffering in the world or anything like that. That would be cool. But
yeah, I mean,
just to kind of try to like give you an olive branch. Let's say that some suffering's necessary, even though if God's omnipotent, it's not. But I'll just like I'll try to like meet you halfway. I think that the gratuitous suffering is just absolutely abhorrent. What's the worst thing that you can think of that people do on a daily basis? It's probably something you can't say in public, right? But this is something that God would be allowing. God ultimately decided what happened by choosing to create this world rather than that world. He's like, in this world I'm going to create, someone will use their free will to fuck a kid. In this world, they still have free will, they still have suffering, they still have even illness, but nobody fucks any kids. I'm going to choose the world where kids get fucked. And it's like, just to teach people what happens if you... I don't think that the ends justify the means. I don't think that you need to teach somebody a lesson if you can just avoid that whole problem altogether. Like, nobody needs to learn that you don't fuck kids if nobody ever has the desire in the first place. Do you know what I mean?
Well, obviously. No, I clearly understand your statement. It's just the hypothetical sense of the extreme means of why it is. Obviously, clearly, we can all agree that people who choose to do atrocities and violate any minor or child is objectively wrong, regardless of their perspective of justification. Like, that's just appalling. Just as much, it would be, in the more sense, putting your child through surviving on their own. Obviously, that's just, kind of like a ridiculous stance. Like, I would not put my child to survive on their own just to learn skills, in certain...
It seems like God does that, though, in your view. It seems like something that, like, you don't...
We're children, in the sense, like, as his followers, yes, we're still a very young species,
and we don't always survive these, like, quote unquote trials. Like, and sometimes they're really horrible. Like, some people will get kidnapped and tortured just to be killed. Like, where's the lesson in that? I think that if somebody can save somebody from being kidnapped and tortured and ultimately killed without ever
No,
having the
I
chance to
understand
learn
that.
and grow from it, they would be an accomplice, knowing about it and watching it and allowing it to occur.
But the corruption of evil isn't God's creation itself.
It says in the Bible that God creates all things.
Yes, but he does not. He is all good. So does an all good creator choose to create on purpose something that is corrupted and evil and not of his way of understanding, reason, so on and so forth?
Right. Yeah, like an all good being wouldn't create a world that contains evil.
No, I understand that.
Right.
Like, I obviously I don't know the instruction blueprint of why we are the way we are. You know, only
That's true.
God
Just
knows.
Precious 38 actually pointed out that he creates evil. That's a reference to a passage in Isaiah. Some translations say, "I create good. I create evil." Sometimes it's translated to calamity, but yeah, like God would like it. It just I think it logically follows too that even if the Bible didn't say whether or not God created evil, or if it said God creates all good things, if God's the ultimate starting point for existence and he knows everything and he has all power, it just would logically follow that anything that occurs is all according to plan, including evil. I don't know how you could get around it.
Well, just as we create things as like a individual who would create a said product, individuals on their own who have that said product can use it for good or use it for evil. Like a firearm, it was intended to create for hunting animals to survive, to provide food, in that perspective. But obviously, they're going to have individuals who are going to use that tool for evil, for wrongdoings. Does it make the creator wrong
If you're
for having to
yeah,
be an accomplice to hurt said person that
God
made
would
it choose to
be
do for
yeah.
the
God
intended
would be an
purpose?
accomplice to every atrocity that occurs, like any shooting you could think of, anytime somebody's raped, anytime somebody's killed. God is always an accomplice because I don't know if you agree with like Spider-Man, but with great power comes great responsibility. If you could
But that's
stop an
the individual
atrocity,
itself.
if you could stop an atrocity from occurring, especially at no risk to yourself and no cost to yourself, and you just choose to watch it happen as they beg for help from anybody. The bystander on the street who watches is scolded and treated as an accomplice, but God somehow gets a free pass to be an accomplice.
But is he supposed to be in control of every circumstance and of every scenario in our experience?
If God is all powerful, all knowing, and the ultimate
Yes, but that's just kind of like,
uncaused first cause, then he just is in control. Like it's not like should he be, he just flat out is. There's no way around it.
but he does not control us. We have the free will. That's the understanding, the caveat is we have the individual autonomy to choose of our own self, to choose to in this the scenario you just kind of phrased. Now, if the bystander chooses not to, that's on him.
I
That's the
think
guilt and shame that
okay.
he
I
does.
think
It's not
at
God's
this
fault. God,
point, I understand what you're saying. At this point, I think it is up to you to demonstrate that we have free will, because usually I'll hear people use free will as an apologetic to justify or explain away the problem of evil and suffering. But I don't think that free will is actually a logical possibility with or without a God. I think it's worse if you have a God. I think it's even worse if you have the Christian God because of like scriptures. It's not a biblical concept. There's predestination rather in its stead in the Bible, outlined in some verses there. But yeah, you would have to explain to me how we actually have this free will, because I think it logically follows that we just flat out don't.
well, it's just if it's innate or the other word I'm thinking, but essentially through just the kind of core of us, understanding the empathy, you know, within ourselves, knowing like what's right and what's wrong, or people who are corrupted just choose to lack that filter of like, oh well, so, that's not me. It's not happening to me, and I'm just gonna turn the other cheek, or am I gonna have the strength, the empathy, and the righteousness to stand up and do something? You know, it's the choice that's the free will, is having the choice to choose to do so,
No,
whether you know,
I don't.
they
So
feel
like
like they should or not.
obviously, man. Like, what was your name? Navajo. I don't
Yeah.
like. Obviously, I believe that people make choices. Like that's trivially true. That's very clear. I think that we can all agree that we make choices. But when I say that we don't have free will, I'm talking about something different. Whenever free will is brought up in like a philosophical discussion, I'm inclined to believe it's always libertarian free will. Otherwise, it's just like trivial. I think everybody can agree that we have like a pragmatic free will where we evaluate options and make choices, make decisions based on those options. But that's not what I'm talking about. Like ultimately, if God is all powerful, if God is all knowing, and God is the first cause, God would just be in control. God could create a universe A, or I'll use numbers instead. That way we can go more than 26. He can create universe 1, universe 2, universe 3, universe 4, universe 940 centillion, right? He could create all these different universes with all these different possibilities where people do all sorts of different things and tell him that they have free will, though he never does in the Bible. That's not a thing that he ever says. Um, but ultimately, if he decides, I'm going to create this universe where this guy does this thing, that's just what he's going to do.
Yeah, I understand your perspective. Yeah, I mean, there's infinite amount of possibilities that things can happen positively or negatively. You know, I get that. Or in different realities or different, circumstances, etc. I get that.
Have you ever heard
I understand that.
there's a fun way to put it that honest interlocutors see the point of this question, right? So if God's omniscient, God knows everything that you're going to do, and he sees that you've reached a junction where you could decide to either make choice A or choice B. In your view, you've got two choices, you got two options. God knows for a 100% fact in his omniscience that you're going to choose choice A. Is it possible for you to prove God wrong and choose B?
Sorry, say again. I got distracted with something. Say again.
Right.
Sorry.
If God knows that between choice A and choice B, you believe you have two options. God knows with 100% certainty, due to his omniscience, that you will choose choice A and not choice B. Is it possible for you to prove God wrong and choose B?
I mean, if that's what you individually believe, I mean, depending on what it is, if it's morally the best solution.
This is a nondescript choice. It's just like A and B. It has not necessarily anything to do with morality. Do you, so you would say that like you could choose B. You think it is possible to prove God wrong?
Well, I guess to kind of go back to your premise is God would want me to prefer take A rather than B.
No, he just knows. Like not necessarily even inciting God's preference. We're just relying on God's omniscience alone. God knows with 100% certainty that you absolutely will choose A. Is it possible for you to choose B and prove God wrong?
I mean, sure, hypothetically speaking.
Okay, so you believe that God is not omniscient.
Well, I mean, just putting it into that simplified kind of terms, I mean, it's just kind of very without knowing for the individual, or like at least that kind of description. I mean, could if you wanted to.
I can prove God wrong if I want to. It seems like I don't know, like if you I think that you should stop saying that God's omniscient then, if you hold that we can prove him wrong. Like we know things that God doesn't know. We can do things that God doesn't expect.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say like let's see what happens. I mean, in this term, but with like everything in general,
What do you mean,
it's a
like
different
God?
kind of.
When you like God is saying, we'll see what happens, or what?
Yeah, it's just kind of like letting your creations choose to do as what they know in that moment. Obviously, as they learn through time what they feel works best for them,
Right.
you
So
know.
then, but okay, if God is omniscient and you choose B, then God knew that you were going to choose B. If God is not omniscient and you choose B, and he thought that you were going to choose A, then he's just not, he just doesn't know that. Like, there is, so if you think that God's not omniscient and God can be proven wrong, I would still say that there's no possibility for libertarian free will, but I wouldn't be able to use God's omniscience as an additional reason to make that case anymore. But typically people believe that God is omniscient and all powerful and stuff.
I mean, that's just the understanding through scripture and biblical belief, of course. You know, obviously, like scientifically speaking, us humans, we can't really, you know, scientifically prove what isn't essentially there, you know. Perhaps as well on the other side of the coin, we also don't know that he doesn't not exist
By
at
the
the
way,
same time.
I do want to point out though, like real quick, I just thought this. I should inform you that you actually said not just your opinion, but you said an incorrect answer to my question. Because based on the premises, it would follow that the answer is no. Oh my god, thanks, Cyber. I'm a pink cowboy. Like a girly. That's Cyber Deconstruction, everybody.
Cyber deconstruction. Never go back,
Cyber Deconstruction. Thank you for that, homie. That was 450 doubloons. I appreciate that, homie. Thank you so much. So if God knows everything, if he's omniscient, because that's in the premise, that's in the premises, and he knows you'll choose A, it does follow that you cannot prove him wrong, logically speaking.
Well, yeah, just to kind of walk back my statement. Yeah, I mean, he knows before we even know. I'll put
Right,
it that way, and I'll
right,
pretty much stand on that.
right. Now,
Just to
if
correct
God,
myself.
okay, okay, so you actually
That's the
are
point of that.
are you retracting that, or like do you still
Yeah,
hold
so
he's
pretty much.
omniscient?
So, like, he knows what we are going to choose, whether it is for or against him.
Okay,
Like,
right.
he already knows.
Right. Okay, so
Pretty
your
much, just to
your
kind
answer
of
then would be
clear.
like you cannot prove him wrong. Like you can't. It's not possible for you to choose B. You have to choose. Like you can only choose A because God knows you're gonna choose A.
Yeah, before he even starts,
Right.
he's
Okay.
outside
All
time and
right.
space. Is pretty much
Well,
the premise of it.
that's a lot better. I've regained some respect for you there, man. I'm glad that you saw that. Now, like, if that's the case though, if God knows you're gonna choose A, so the only option you have, though you think you have two options, B is not a possibility. Therefore, B is not a real option. It's just a perceived option. It's one that you think. It's an illusion of an option. So if you have, let's say you've got 900 sexagentillion options before you. God knows you're going to pick number 69.
Sure.
You
I mean,
only
yeah, if you
have
have like an infinite,
you
you have infinite options.
you only
He already
have
knows.
one true option. The only thing you can do is that one thing that God knows you're going to do. It's not possible for you to choose anything other than that one thing. If that's the case, you simply don't have free will. Yeah, like you're doing what you want to do. You're making decisions based on your will. The will just is not free. Your will is absolutely determined.
He doesn't determine it for us, but he already knows, like, kind of like a director writing a script. Okay, hang on. Actually, that's a terrible analogy. It's
Well,
like a fortune teller.
God doesn't
basically
even
already
need to
knowing
be. God does not need to be the one determining it. I could make an argument that he is the one, but like he doesn't even need to be the one determining it. If he knows and he's omniscient, then he doesn't have to be the one doing it. He doesn't have to be the one determining it. It is just determined because you only have one
yeah,
possible
it's
thing that you can
destiny.
do.
We create that destiny
Yeah.
ourselves.
Like you can either
Like
walk,
okay,
you can walk
well,
through this door or you can walk through that door. But that door is just a brick wall. It's not possible for you to walk through it. All these doors that you think are wide open are simply brick walls. Only one of them is truly open. You don't actually have the free will.
well, yeah. Essentially, we have, let's say, regardless of number, infinite options, if you will. We, as whatever we choose, is the option that we choose. That is the way, regardless of the options. So,
I
trying to
think
like
you're
not
I think
confuse
you're
myself.
like almost getting what I'm saying. Hey
Yeah,
man,
I'm
it's
trying to like essentially agree with you in the general premise. Yeah,
yeah.
like we have like infinite amount of choices, but pretty much it's already determined that God knows that we are going to choose whatever
Yep.
we want to choose, and that will be the path to take, whatever it may be,
Yeah, and if it's
regardless.
determined, you don't have the free will. Determinism is the antithesis of free will. But hey, man, it's been a good talk. You're welcome to come back on Tuesday. I'll be live again on Tuesday next.
Cool beans.
I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna look up a. Yeah, you have a good night, man. I'm gonna look up a raid for us to do. If you guys want to. Hey, thanks for being here, by the way, everybody. I appreciate everybody sitting in here. Thanks again to Cyber for that generous gift. Thank you for Derby. Derby sent a few things. 3 pips. Pips, I saw you come in and I forgot to say hello. So thank you for being here, man, and thanks for the support. Grandpa Books sent some gifts. He sent a whole bunch of shit. That's awesome. Wow, you sent a lot of stuff. DJ Hot Tub. AJ was a fun one. I think maybe I should lose my cool a little bit more often. I think that was entertaining. People were doing like L M I B my AO over here to that stuff, and so Wit sent some stuff. Thank you, Wit, Miss Casey. I appreciate you guys. Christina, I think Christina went to bed. Bertram, Dan, AJ, you sent something. Sebastian earlier on. Contra Christos. Andrea, Queen Laquifa. Everlasting Godstopper, Discordant Rhyme, Matthew, Saintly, Demons Don't Dance, and then JP at the beginning. JP is a Christian. I started off with God is good, God is real, prove me wrong. He's a Christian. He sent me hand hearts, 100 coins, thinking that I was truly a Christian. And now Jaren's coming in at the end because he heard I was ending. Oh, TikTok isn't responding. Close app. All right. Well, I'm trying to find a raid, bro. Hey, Jaren, do you like my satire that I do on your live lately? I was having fun, I was having fun giving bad arguments for the guest and them like agreeing with me. Be like, yeah, Lopes has got it. I think that shit's fucking peak. 4 thumbs downs. I know you're not being honest with that because I have on good understanding you only have half of those thumbs. Thrail? Do I even know Thrail? I've heard people say that name before, but I don't think I actually follow Thrail. Maybe I follow Thrail. Well, anyways, guys, yeah, thanks for being here. If you wanted to send something to the gift goal, now's the last chance. I'm gonna get out of here and I'll be back on Tuesday. I'll do Tuesday, Thursday. I might try to throw the Wednesdays back in. I took a couple weeks off. I'm trying to take it slow. Thrill is the guy with the low, soothing voice. No, that's Tiny Science. Thrill is the guy with the low, soothing voice. No, you're thinking of Zach Lazar Hoffman. Well, what guy's posts? Who's problematic? Really? Was that close to his points? Oh, Navajo? Ugh. Really bad. I mean, you always kind of gotta half expect there to be some bullshit coming from Christians, even when they're nice and polite and everything. Because they still believe fucked up shit. And unfortunately, so my heart goes out to them. Because it's not their fault they believe fucked up shit. A lot of the time, they're raised to believe, yeah, Cyber's in here. Oh, that was bad. Sorry. That was not my best work. You can't sleep. Oh, shit.
Cyber deconstruction.
That's him.
Yes, Jaren, I am in here. I'm in here. Or is Lobes just a really good ventriloquist?
Oh, there's just a delay.
Oh, is there a delay?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't hear you. Oh.
Oh, he
I
doesn't
am
get
not
it.
hearing you.
He doesn't get it.
Oh. I got it. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh, why
Yeah,
are there two
so-
Cybers in here?
Yeah, why are there two Cybers in here? I gotta say, the other day when what was it? We said
You had my
crazy
phone?
faded at the same time. I'm like,
I was like, why did you answer? He's clearly asking that to me. You like ruined the illusion. But I couldn't like say anything because that would have made it worse, you know? But that was peak. But like I'm glad Jared didn't say anything about that. He just laughed it off and kept going with
Right.
the interrogation.
but no. So Threll also Batcolite, like they're the same person. He just loads up both.
Oh, that's what I thought who it was. Like you said,
Yeah.
the low soothing voice. I was like, so that sounds like they're describing Backlight.
Yeah. So he does a weird thing because he'll be on like the Batcolite thing, but he mutes that because he'll be loaded up on his Threll account as well because
Loaded
that's the same. Yeah, and so I don't know, like, yeah, he does a weird thing, but he does like the Socratic method. So it's no debates. It's just, ask questions. Can your beliefs be questioned? And so he kind of runs reductios just by asking questions.
Like Yodi does. Yodi does that a lot.
Yeah.
I wish I was good at that.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Oh, so I just checked YouTube because I don't check it a lot because it doesn't have a lot of action. Somebody lied in the comments. They said I spoke to Lobes yesterday night. I wasn't live yesterday night. Big fat fucking liar. I
Yeah,
don't recognize
fat
you.
fucking liar.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I disavow. Fat fucking liar. Sorry, I disavowed that again. But yeah. So the Socratic method, like, so if Threll will panel you, and if you like, I don't know if you've been on his panel before, but if you mention like me, I can even throw a word in there. He'll let you on, and it's really because you'll ask him a question, why. I have to go look and see what his topic is today, but it's really just going there and just take like whatever point you want to make, just turn it into a question, and then you really get their wheels turning, and And then you'll end up with people that want to go in there and debate, and he's not really interested in debating. He just wants to know, can you question your beliefs? And every time he has Deathless Light used to go in there all the time. I think he has him blocked now, but it got to
Yeah.
a point where whenever Deathless Light, because he can actually sing, that guy actually has a pretty good singing voice.
Deathless Light.
And so, yeah. So Thrall would be like, tonight to come on the panel, you're required to sing a song. So Deathless Light will put on he put on a full concert if you let him.
Wow. I think it's just because he's a narcissist.
No, true. Well, there is a potential though. I think I have to go find it, but somebody caught him slipping. So he is a Christian, but there's a chance that he's LARPing. So like his narcissism is just a big LARP.
Wait, you think he's LARPing as a narcissist?
Yeah.
I think that's
'Cause
one of the
the-
most narcissistic things you can do.
Right, right.
You sound like
'Cause,
you're
like,
doing a
if-
cyber impression now.
Oh,
With the
you
right,
sh-
right. It was a little too on the nose.
Right,
You sound a little too much like cyber.
I mean, I don't know. Don't tell Cyber that there's another person with a Cyber account that's trying to sound like him.
Can you do impressions of it? Can you do an impression of me? I think everybody would love it if you pulled that off.
Can you do an impression of me? I think everybody would love it if you did an impression of Lobes.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to
I think it's
go
just
a
a
little
one.
deeper.
I think it's just a one-way street, unfortunately. That would be so amazing if you could. 3 cybers. Jared, come up here and do a cyber impression.
We need Jaren doing it, and we need to get Zach up here.
I've heard him try it before because obviously I ask him to do that, and he does it like every time. And it's like, I'm not a huge narcissist, but I'm a narcissist enough to say that I've got a fucking great cyber impression. Zach was doing a pretty good Jaren too. Like it was several months ago, like before I got this set up, which I've been doing it from this camera for a while. But it was like back when I was still doing it on my phone. It was that long ago, and he did a Jaren impression, and I had invited a whole bunch of people in, including Jaren, and I think Jaren got there after he was done, but he was like, it was mostly the phrases he was saying. He picked up on shit that Jaren would say a lot, like, what are you talking about? That it's not a thing. So like, it's not a thing. Your mom and shit like that. He
Your
was just
mom.
saying, yeah, he was just saying like Jaren catchphrases, like that's not a thing. In no way, shape, or form. What are you talking about? What are you talking?
Yeah, and I think you nailed it earlier too, because Jaren does that little like, not that Trump, but little like a start of a laugh, but he doesn't quite go into a laugh.
I must have some kind of catchphrase or mannerisms that are like repeatable. I just don't know what they are. There has to be some subtle thing I do all the time. As soon as somebody points it out, it'll be glaringly obvious.
True. Yeah, because there's things you don't notice until you hear somebody like you when you do impressions of me. I'll catch you doing things and I'll be like, wait, do I actually do that? So I'll go back and watch like my old recordings. I'll be like, yeah, I do say right a lot. That's true.
Yeah.
I do that.
Yeah, sometimes when you end sentences, you'll go. It's like you're letting out the rest of your air real quick or something, or like you hit the brakes on your voice, but then like it sputters a little bit. I don't know how else to describe it.
That's fair.
But you do that a lot, and Joel even pointed out that like that was a good like I noticed that because it's something that I think people don't notice because they listen to your words, but it's like this little thing because they were saying I got your breathing down, but I wasn't trying to do your breathing. They might have been talking about that little detail where you'll end sentences like that.
Yeah, I think that also might be part of my like neurospiciness because because my son, one of my sons, has I'm trying to remember the level it is, but he's on the spectrum, but he's extremely high functioning. But I noticed the other day, like when we're driving, if he's not doing anything, he'll make these noises like he's trying to. It's not like he's clearing his throat, but it's more of like a. And so, but it's just him. He's just stimming himself. Right?
He
That's
just
all it
got he
is.
just got ticks or something.
Yeah, it's like a tick or a stim or something.
I definitely have
And
ticks.
then my youngest son is he's I don't want to say he's nonverbal because he'll say like one word sentences. So he'll be like toy, but then you have to try to figure out. So my ex-wife, as much as her and I don't get along, she's a good mother. She's a fantastic mother. And she's been teaching him sign language. And so he'll do sign language, but he's really only like one word sentences and stuff.
How old is
So
he?
he is 4.
Oh, okay. So honestly, he'll probably still develop into speaking just fine if he keeps like doing like vocal training or whatever, like speech training, speech therapy.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And he, up until, this last year, he wasn't even doing the one words. He was just like doing like noises, different noises would kind of mean different things. But with my other son though, it was again those I started noticing like in the back he'd be making, like throat noises, and I can realize there's some I'm stimming. And so I wonder if like when I end my sentences, if that's what I'm just doing.
Oh,
If it's like a tick
that's
or something.
probably that's my first guess, because I don't think it's like a thing that you need to do. Like I think that it's probably it's like subconscious. You don't really know that you're doing it when you're doing it. It probably is just due to some spice in the neurons there.
Yeah, well, like with my son, I'll ask him because when I caught him doing, I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like,
Just sitting here,
"You're
Dad.
making a you're making a
I'm
noise
just
back
sitting
there."
here,
He's like,
Dad.
"No, I'm not." Yeah, exactly.
I'm just sitting here, Dad. What are you talking about? I like the SpongeBob thing. I don't understand your accent. That's so peak. Oh my god. I never say peak. I've said peak at least like 5 or 6 times tonight. Anywho, yeah. If Thrill's still alive, let's all go read Thrill. This is a long
Yeah.
outro, but it
Oh,
was worth it to have Cyber come up here and
I did have a quick question for you though, because I know you've been doing a lot of talking with Ogar and stuff. Where are you sitting on objective morals, or are you still a subjectivist?
I'm still flirting. Well, I'm flirting with objective morality. I just think that it's excuse me. I just think that it's still a category error, in my opinion. Like I understand the logic behind grounding it in agency. Like I would say that I take actions to achieve goals. That makes me an agent. I need you to not interfere in order for me to accomplish those things. That means I'm claiming a right. And if my agency grants that right, then I think that follows. I think that's a great foundation for a moral framework. I still think that is subjective, because I don't think that claiming a right gives you a right. I could say I claim a right to do X, Y, or Z. Like you have no right, I don't think that claiming a right gives you one. I don't think it's intrinsic. I think that we invent the right. Based on this reasoning, we've reasoned from our stance, based on our values. And these values might be ubiquitous and probably are for this. Like they probably are ubiquitous. It might always be the case that we're going to give ourselves this right, but I still don't think that makes it objective. Like I think that some things are always evil, right? But I don't think that they're objective. I still think it's subjective. Like that's still a value that I have. I can't just sit here and say that something that I hold to always be evil is objective, even if I could make a logical argument for it. Like you and Ian and Ogar, you make a really good case for it. It's really consistent, and I run that. I just don't think it gets to objectivity where it's like mind independent. I think it's still a stance that you hold, and that would make it subjective.
So if you ever get a chance to read Gorth on the topic, because this is really Gorth's argument,
Right, it's
but
Gorthian.
Gorth takes it, yeah, but he takes it a step further with I'm going to butcher this word, with universalizing it, right? So the idea of it being self-contradictory in your worldview is part of it, but then there's a universalization of it. If we universalize everybody needing free will and well-being or the freedom, not free will is a wrong word there, freedom and well-being. If you universalize that, then the society flourishes. But let's say we universalize like murder. If you universalize that, it's a self-defeating argument. So the society will collapse. If you say that murder is okay, you end up with a self-defeating society.
But
So
that's what I would say. Like, and I would say that that's subjective because, like, subjectively, like from a human's perspective, we value a flourishing society. Like, but if we valued somehow, if we did value a society that just is self-defeating, then that would be good. You know, it wouldn't make it. I don't know why evolution would cause us to value those things, but I think that it's still like ultimately a value judgment that people have. Like, why is it like is it good that life exists, right? Like that's like coming from the perspective of someone who's alive, I would say like, well, yeah, you know, like I love that I exist, but I have a bias. I have a bias towards life because I'm living. When I'm dead, I don't give a shit that I'm dead. Do I want to live? No, I don't, because I'm too dead to want to live. You know what I mean? Like from the perspective of those who are living, life is good, and to the perspective of those who are dead, they don't really have an opinion. Seems like they're indifferent.
I guess the question
Thank you,
would be
Casey.
is our biological functions, are those objective or subjective?
Like, I guess the biological functions, they objectively happen, if that's what you're asking.
Well, because what we see with like wanting to flourishing seems to be a biological function that anything that we would grant any form of living, if we're considering it a living thing, flourishing seems to be the drive that they all go towards, regardless of what their mind state is.
Evolution has given us this disposition to want to flourish. Like, evolution could give rise to something that doesn't want to flourish, and it wouldn't. Like, it would be kind of indifferent, or maybe it gives rise to something that like wants to die, you know. And it would probably follow through with that. So like the only things that we're really gonna see are things that want to flourish because of like natural selection, I think.
But is it an actual like? Because when I think of want, I think want as like a decision making thing. You're deciding that you want this or you're going to do it, versus a biological function. I think to survive is a biological function.
I don't think
That
I
we're
understand
just-
your question. Like, you said that to be alive is a biological function, sure, but like, what do you mean what exactly are you asking?
Like, oh no, what I was saying is I don't know if I'd use the want to live, because I think the word want implies that there's some decision making going in your brain, that there's a choice, that there's an inherent choice that like you're thinking about.
I don't think so. Well, so like, I don't think that you have to be aware that you want something for you to want something, if that makes sense.
Possibly, but I think there's still like a brain state there where even if it's subconscious, it's being made. But whereas,
you also like, I would also say when I argue against free will, I don't think you choose what you want. Like your priors determine what you want.
Yeah, correct. Well, yeah, well, like you, I'm a determinist as well. So, we have that um illusion of choosing,
Right.
right? I'm just kidding. That
Right.
right was like intentional. Um, but yeah, I think though when it comes to like the disposition to flourish though, I think that's just something that we naturally do. And then of course there are situations where something may happen that puts you in a position where you then begin to consciously determine that maybe life would be better if you weren't here. And then like self-deletion ideation goes into mind and stuff. But I think that generally either happens because something either horrific happens to you and you feel like there's you just get that I'm worthless view because of it. You do something and you feel like that whatever you did, the world is better off without you, or you're trying to avoid other punishments. Or there's
Oop.
something going on.
Yeah, I gotta disconnect you for reason mental health. Yeah, we're talking about.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that.
yeah, sorry. Anyway, but thanks for the talk. Looks like it was just on you, so I think my life is safe. But I have been trying to get out of here for freaking forever now. Everybody go raid Thrail. Well, I was saying goodbye for like forever. So the fact that 50 of y'all sat around for this long is kind of funny. No life, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna regret staying up this late tomorrow. Shit. All right. See ya. Have a good one.